you don't want to have people. It's such a hard subject. Ultimately, what you want is a full population of people that are educated enough in civics that they can at least properly participate in their own elections. But
Yeah, you have to be informed, huh?
we are as a nation criminally underinformed, and I can say criminally underinformed because it's the it's the education curriculum that is approved by the public servants that removed from the curriculum the education about civics and principles of different types of governments, the sort of not necessarily political science, but political awareness that people need. Um, and then that turns into a discussion about the Prussian school system, which the reason that everybody across the West gets the same kind of schooling is because the industrialists that endorsed that method wanted to produce workers and not produce
Thinkers, yeah.
challenges to their own authority or economic hegemony. And that's been a long time plan. That's not just paranoia. When if people learn about the
That's
international
just
bankruptcies
paranoia.
of the
Paranoia is
1930s,
definitely a component here.
healthy paranoia, like when people are actually out to get you, it's okay to be paranoid.
Yeah,
You know,
fair enough.
you probably live longer. And if you take a look at the WEF or the Rothschild bankers, the things that the Rothschild bankers brought about in the 1930s, like uh, Canada as a country is no longer under our own laws. We're no longer a federated dominion. Canada as a federal, uh, lawful federal entity hasn't existed since the 1930s. And immediately afterwards, whatever wealth that Canada held was put into a state of bankruptcy. And that state of bankruptcy has been maintained for 90 years. The corporation that was hired to resolve that bankruptcy is keeping the bankruptcy open so their corporation can impersonate our lawful parliament and keep pushing fucking corporate regulations in our face. Even though they're not supposed to be running our government, they're supposed to be managing and finishing managing a bankruptcy. But that bankruptcy is 90 years old right now. So the provinces are all still federated territories, except for Quebec. Quebec is, as far as the law is concerned, like international law, Quebec is a non-entity now because of the Plains of Abraham, because of the war between the French and the English. When when the English and the French, it was they conspired to make it look like the French lost. There was a handshake agreements in governments, diplomatic agreements that were made first about the transfer of this land. But in order to not piss off the French population of Quebec by just handing them over to the governance of the English, they made it look like they lost a war. But all of the ruling families of the French imperialist class stayed in Quebec. When the French peasants were being expelled by the English and sent down the Appalachian Trail, the ruling families that ended up holding all of the land in Quebec, they stayed there. They weren't persecuted by the English like the French peasants were, the
Well, that's
former
for sure.
European peasants were.
The
Um,
rich guys
and,
are always safe.
and so what actually happened under the laws of war, if the English did actually conquer Quebec, then Quebec is a conquered territory and its people are a conquered people, and they're conquered by Ontario effectively. Because even though there's the maritime provinces that are effectively like the grandparents of Canada, Ontario and Quebec got married, and then Quebec went to war with Ontario, or vice versa. But in the stage play, when Ontario won, all of the stage players stayed in Ontario and Quebec and would have no matter who won. But it was the peasant population that was mostly displaced.
And it was
Those
called
people are still
Ontario?
there.
It was called
Well,
Ontario in
where
those
the
days, or it had a different name?
No, it was Upper Canada or Lower
Upper
Canada. Quebec
Canada
is
and
Upper
Lower
Canada.
Canada. Yeah, Upper and Lower
Yeah.
Canada. Okay, okay, yeah.
But Lower Canada became Quebec, and yeah, Upper Canada because it was the water was running downhill towards Quebec. Um, Upper Canada became Ontario, but um, the Maritimes were already singled out in what was the entity that was growing towards what was going to be Canada. The Maritimes were already sort of singled out. There was, mostly Scottish population in in Nova Scotia, and mostly Irish population in Newfoundland, and mostly English and Welsh and Irish in New Brunswick. Um, but there was still Scotsmen everywhere, and there was still Irishmen and Englishmen in all of those places. But the populations were mostly these sort of identifiable European subcultures. But when the English took over Ontario, or when the English took over Quebec, um, like Upper Canada was designated in our laws, and Lower Canada was designated in our laws. Um, oh wait, I think I'm messing this up. I got to remember why it was I was telling this story. I think it relates to what I was talking to Jean about the other night about um,
China.
uh, the French Laurentian pirates.
Oh
Oh
How
yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah. There were
about
pirates
how
here.
the area in and around the St. Lawrence Seaway and up into the northern coast of Quebec was as well known to the pirates of the 16 and 1700s as all the little nooks and crannies of the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, and like
Yeah,
the whole coast was explored.
even the Vikings were here before anybody else to America.
Indeed,
So
indeed, and
they
not
found a
not just
Viking
the
village.
Vikings,
Yeah,
not just the Vikings, but before the land was split.
yeah. Even before there may have been other people even before. Yeah,
Well, there were because the East Coast Pale northern native populations are related to they have sort of pre-European DNA. Let's say they have more than their fair share of Neanderthal DNA, more than the Europeans
yeah,
on average. Um, and they there's they're the same people, but we're mixed with a different tribe that was coming from west to east. The movements of the people all across the earth. There's
yeah,
walking trails in the Highlands in Scotland that go down to the ocean, and the land masses that they're on are the same rock formation in England and Scotland as there are in Newfoundland and down on the New England coast, where there's walking trails that come out of the ocean that had been walked for so many thousands of years that they, cut deep Nazca line cuts into the earth.
yeah.
Um, and those walking trails basically go from Scotland to Newfoundland. And there was a time when there wasn't an ocean in between them. When the
Yeah.
lands were, you take the puzzle of the earth and you
Yeah,
stick it
Pangea
together.
or something. They wasn't it called
Pangea, they say it was a
Pangea?
long, long, long time ago. Pangea, Gondwana land, I've heard it called. There's a number of different permutations of the collected land mass of Earth that, they called it this one continent. That's basically the continent that we go to the out of Africa theory for human development. The the upright hominids that covered the Earth, they came out of Africa, but they came out of Africa when it was attached to everywhere else, anyways. Right. So the
It
upright
wasn't as
apes that
far,
were
yeah.
walking across the land, they didn't have vast, deep oceans that they had to cross to get from this place to that place. We had many, many ice ages. Whenever we have ice ages, the sea level contracts significantly. But we also have this continental expansion that's going on, and the mass of the Earth, the sort of above water continental landmass that's on mostly on one side of the planet seems to be slowly expanding into the Pacific Ocean region, which effectively the Pacific Ocean covers like just about the whole face of the planet. If you were
Yeah,
to
it's
like
huge.
put yourself in the geographic center of
Do you
the
think
Pacific
it's
Ocean and then take yourself up.
because it was
Hmm?
connected one way and it's now moving apart, huh? Do you think it's
It's
gonna move
moving the other
apart?
way.
Yeah, is it gonna move enough that it's gonna touch on the other side? What do you not think is gonna happen?
Eventually, but that's the sort
That
of
would be pretty
eventually that you're
crazy,
talking
no?
about billions of years of
Yeah, yeah, it's
there's
moving
these
slow. It's moving slow,
moving very slowly.
but if it
And of
touches on
course
the other side, it's gonna create another continent. Yeah. Sorry, Phil.
it would create something, and on the way, of course, like let's say the North American plate. Where I am right now is allegedly the island that I'm on is if there was a big earthquake, the island that I'm on is going to get sucked right into the earth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this rock that I'm living on, the chunk of this island, it's several different big chunks of rock, but the piece that I'm on is
Is
a particularly ancient piece. Although
is
something
it
really
quartz?
disturbing, it's got some Mount Maxwell.
Ah, Mount
It's
Maxwell.
it does have some really disturbing geological deposits up on the top of Mount Maxwell. It's got that sort of concrete rubble aggregate stuff, but it's all natural. Like if you took a look at it, you'd be like, oh, it looks like somebody just poured some concrete with all different kinds of big stones in it. And
There's
Yeah,
something
on
I
it's
top of
hard
the.
saw.
like that too.
There's something I saw on this island where you have a rock. I don't remember where this is, but it's not on it's on the shore, and it's a big rock, and there is a big piece of steel that somehow melted inside the rock. You know, so
Uh
I
huh.
guess there must be a technology where you heat induce the thing to penetrate the stone, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it was probably an anchor for boats or shit. But I was just using it to split some quartz to try and find something.
Uh huh. Well, you do get some stuff that happens in the water when you if you do put an anchor down, you'll get all kinds of stuff that like barnacles that'll grow up on it. And
Yeah.
if you don't ever knock them off, they just keep on growing and sort of
Yeah.
So that
growing
shit was
over.
outside the water. It was just a big rock, you know. There was
Yeah.
a pool of metal in it. Not very tall, you know, just a small protrusion of metal.
Uh-huh.
Like quite nice metal too, I might say. Not rusted, just really nice forged metal.
Uh-huh.
It's on. Do you
Wow.
know? Do you remember, Philip, where we took those hike and we went like off road? And one time you went with Josh and like there was
Yeah.
some crazy shit there. Do you remember the name of that place?
Uh,
It's
Excuse
where
me.
it there is like
it was one of the
um
hiking spots on Salt Spring, but I don't
yeah, it's
remember.
one of the hiking spots, and there is a spot where you can see dolphins. Like they're right there. I know there's many spots on the island that are
You can see like
magnificent, and it's
lights
in
in
the top
the
five.
water. You can see
Hmm?
like lights in the water sometimes, like how do you call it, bioluminescent or something?
Yeah, the phosphorescence, bioluminescence.
Yeah, yeah, you
By the
can
way,
Maybe it was
this is
maybe it was
live.
Burgoyne Bay because Burgoyne Bay is a popular place for that, and there's trails that
maybe.
go out. There's a couple of narrow channels in between Salt Spring and the Big Island, Vancouver Island, and there are some trails that go out to those spots where you could um,
It's such a
see
beautiful
the
place.
dolphins or the killer whales going through the narrows. But yeah, Burgoyne Bay, that's a popular spot. Lots of nice
Burgoyne
trails
Bay.
from there.
That's where we
Yeah,
were.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's
Burgundy. I
Burgoyne Bay.
remember
good
going
guess.
there.
That's where the metal pole is. But it's not on the trail. It's you have to go the shore to go all along the shore to find those quartz deposit. And that's where it is. There is a whole lot of quartz. It seems like almost someone like took a saw to it to like take some chunk and see there if there was some gold or something.
Uh-huh.
and obviously there's not anything there. I still smash them, you know.
You still smash them? Smash what?
Me-
You
Well,
make me think
big pieces of parts.
of Khabib. It's like Khabib. He's always
Mm.
saying, "I smash, I
I
smash,
smash.
I smash him." You know the MMA
Khabib, the
fighter.
UFC fighter,
Yeah, yeah, the UFC
or
fighter
you
always
have
saying, "I
That's what he
smash."
says.
Uh,
Only Khabib fight I followed was with Conor McGregor, where like he insulted his dad, and
yeah, and the other
after he
one,
did that, I was like, bro, you're just gonna fucking die. And the guy didn't even fucking answer. It was like one of the most epic roasts because the other guy was just like, you went too far. Like I
no, but
have honor.
he
This is beyond anything,
he
and
insulted
I'll
his
just make you
wife.
suffer in the ring. You know.
He called
uh-huh.
her towel head.
Well, that's no
He
big
told him
deal.
in the ring after like 5 minutes where he was winning, like let's talk now, let's talk now. You want to talk?
Yeah, yeah, no, he was
Uh-huh.
pissed. He's very religious, and he didn't like that comment. You know.
I I heard Connor go off on somebody from maybe from Khabib's camp. He's from Dagestan, but yeah, I
Yeah,
heard Connor
Yeah,
going
yeah.
off about like, you fucking
Dagestani.
Dagestani rat
Yeah,
bastards.
He makes me
And I'm just
laugh.
like,
That
whoa,
Connor guy.
bro.
Yeah, that's he's kind of crazy.
that's the coke, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's funny, but at the same time, you're like, yeah, you're a bit a bit crazy.
it blows his
It's like
ego. That's what it is.
But that's what
these
he's
guys were
gotta do.
douchebags to begin with,
He's gotta sell
and
the
then they
fight, so he has to make a show
snort a
around.
rail.
Yeah.
So
I saw him
guys,
freaking out on the
Well,
bus there. That
marketing,
was
yes.
we're live. Welcome to the show,
Welcome
Air
to the
Legal
are we? Hello,
Podcast,
hello.
11th episode live, and it's running perfectly for once. So if someone tunes in this time, it's not buffy and laggy and
it's
shitty.
our 11th live and our like at least I think 79th overall. I think
Yeah, at least
episode,
79th, and we have
something
a
like
lot
that.
of unrelated episodes.
Yes, we have a lot
You
of
were
content.
recording podcasts for a while, and then publishing them.
Maybe 7 years, something like that.
Yeah, we started in
Uh huh.
2018,
Nice.
and this is our first English episode, which is a very it's a special episode.
What'd you
It's
do
gonna
that
be
for?
Well,
because
it's
it's
illegal.
gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a bilingual podcast. You know, we're not gonna be just French. We're gonna talk a bit of
Hmm.
English too. You know, why not? It will be even fun because I speak Polish. Maybe one day we can have a, a Polish episode.
Polish episode. Yeah, for
Uh
sure.
huh.
That's for the future. Maybe you'll see.
I'll have to buy one of those Polish mail order brides. She can translate for me
Yeah, same.
at
I'll
some
be
point.
there, just hosting the thing, and trying to follow. Like I know Gdansk, and that's it.
Yeah, Gdańsk is just the city name, so you're not gonna go very
Yeah.
far.
No, but I know there is like this sonority to it that isn't found in French, where you have an extra N, which has a squiggly line on top, and this N with the squiggly line is actually GN sound, like in vines in
Ni,
French is
like
ving.
ni, ni.
Yeah,
Uh
like
huh.
ni. Yeah, and you don't have that in French. You don't have that in English. That's a new sound. And I
Yeah,
mean,
there's a few extra sounds in there. Yeah.
yeah, in
He
a
said
language,
knee.
if you figure out the 4 or 5 extra sounds, you're usually pretty like you have a good starting base at least. At least you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
make the fucking sounds.
That's the start. It's mainly all the same letters. There's just one extra letter and a few little additives to letters you can add.
Squiggles.
Yeah, a bit
The
of
squiggles that
squiggles.
make the letter go sideways.
Yeah, you can get a squiggle to the A, you can add a squiggle to the E, you can add a squiggle to all sorts of letters, and like even
Mm.
I have a
And
Z in my last name. It technically has a little dot on the top,
Technically,
uh
it has a dot on the
but I
top.
never put it because nobody knows it.
And so
and
what
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 does the
does the
little
dot
dot
do?
do? Does it
Yeah,
change the Z
Yeah, it
to a
changes the
G
sound.
kind of a?
Yeah, it makes it
Well,
more.
yeah.
It makes it more,
Yeah.
yeah, more than Z. It's like RZ is the same sound as Z with a dot. Some people have
Say
my
it like
last
you
name.
just drank a bottle of vodka.
Some people have my last name, but with RZ instead of just the Z.
Uh-huh.
So it has makes the same sound.
Yeah.
But
R Z.
Oh, because it's the zh of the urge.
Yeah.
yeah, it makes but
Uh,
yeah. So
Uh,
maybe one day
weird
we'll
people
have
all
one.
over the place with their weird languages, eh? How's that happen? How
Yeah.
come
Oh,
nobody
it's
just like we didn't all just grow up speaking English? Huh?
different
hopefully
roots
hope
of
because Polish
languages
is
are fascinating, man. It's just even French. We technically have the ats like grâce and soul arm also has this feature to it,
um
and there was a whole lot of word with the at, and we kind of lost that. Honestly, I feel like French lost a lot of its dynamism in itself, and that's why everyone turns to English for content these days.
but still
Even though
French is
there
a very
is
precise language. That's why all the law and everything is written in French almost.
it's abstract. French is abstract. I
Yeah, but
I don't exactly know if it's precise.
It
a
turns
lot of
everything into
law
male
is
and
written in
female.
French. It turns everything to male, female.
It's a gendered language. Yeah. So your words mean different things depending on
Yeah, yeah, but
who's
that's fine. Yeah,
saying it and who you're talking to.
yeah, that's similar in Polish also. Yeah, there's the word changes if it's a woman or a man. Even the last name changes if you're a man or a woman. Your
Hmm.
last name won't be the same. So
You're
it's
close,
yeah.
but they add an extra squiggle,
A
right?
little letter at the end just to make it known. If you read a last name, you always know if it's a woman or a man just with the last name. Usually, it
Yeah.
depends
Like
how it ends.
Zelensky's wife is named Zelenskaya.
Yeah, exactly the same concept.
Zelenskia. Yeah.
Yeah, because she is Zelensky's, like almost
Yeah.
something those ways, like all of the family.
It's it shows that you're like it'll when you introduce yourself, it tells somebody what your family name is, but it also at the same time it uh, tells whoever's hearing that you're married into that family. Because a daughter in that family, the daughter in that family, her last name isn't going to have that extra letter on it,
Yeah,
right?
she will have two. Yeah, yeah, because it's a woman.
She will have two.
Yeah, yeah, like Robert Lewandowski. His last name is Lewandowski, but his wife is gonna be Lewandowska.
Hmm.
oh,
But what
why
about
is
his
he?
daughter?
I think she would
What
also
about
be
his daughter?
Lewandowska. I think she would also be
Okay,
Lewandowski.
so
But
it
I'm
just
not sure.
indicates
That
well,
I'm
that's
not
what I'm
sure.
trying to figure out. Is if it just indicates that it's a female, it's a surname for a female, or if it's older stuff and it's tied to possession. You
I
know.
think it's more for that it's a female. It changes because it's a female.
Hmm.
She can use both, I think, but it's I never lived over there,
Hmm.
so I'm I'm kind
So I
of
imagine like it would be
Expat.
socially acceptable for a woman to introduce herself as the wife to her husband's name, as like Mrs. Zelinsky, or if she was introducing herself personally, she would say Zelenskaya,
uh,
and the people in
I
her
think you can
community
say
would
both.
theoretically understand what she means in both those situations. The one's a sort of a public protocol name, and the other one is her private human name, let's say.
Yeah, something like that.
Hmm. Stuff like that fascinates me, so I'm just like deep diving on it right now.
Yeah, even I'm not too sure now that you ask. I'm gonna have to confirm this information. But I know that it
Hmm.
changes. The woman, the last name changes. I think the daughter too. I think, but I'm not too. I think so.
Hmm. That's a joke on the internet, eh? With the feminists say I'm not going to take my husband's name. I'm going to use my mother's maiden name, and then the response is you mean your grandfather's name?
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Hmm. And so yeah, the way that names get passed down is interesting to me.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting because now in a more modern sense we have different new ways of passing down our heritage because there is a lot of fractured family where you have like a single mom or even two moms or a mom and a dad, but they both want to pass on the legacy of their family. So now
Mhm.
there's uh, the second name you can do like your second name and then a dash and then the second name of your significant other. So like
Yeah,
both
you can
But
are
take
equal.
both your family names.
Yeah,
in
but one is
Quebec, it's
first. How do you
illegal.
decide?
In Quebec, it's illegal to take for a woman to take the man's name when they marry.
Is
Like
it?
yeah, you're not supposed to take the man's name if you're a woman if you marry in Quebec.
Oh, so you
That,
can't. You can you change it though? But you have to go through a loophole to do it,
yeah,
right?
there's some kind of you have to have some maybe you probably can, but it's more complicated. You're not supposed to.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Hmm.
like I know a couple that came from France recently, and they since they got married in France, she took his last name. But when they came here, everybody was confused. They thought they were like siblings or something. It's like, oh, it's weird. They over here, we don't take the last name. I didn't know this. I thought,
But the rest of the world does. So when you meet somebody who's not from your neighborhood and they have the same last name, your first thought is going to be, are you brother and sister?
yeah,
Yeah.
usually not. Uh,
Wow. Like everywhere else in the world, they do this. Um,
Right.
it's strange that here they don't do it. Maybe it's because it's to show like the women rights and something, show that the woman doesn't
I
need to
think
take
it's,
the man's name or something like that.
I think for Quebec, it's just to be different. It's just to be like, no, we are not like you
Maybe,
English. Because
maybe,
it seems
yeah.
that like the politicians of Quebec are very similar to the other politicians in Canada and the people of Canada, and that we have had this propaganda fed to us for an awful long time that our Canadian identity is not being American, and you get a version of the same thing in Quebec where your identity as a Quebecois is not being Canadian.
Yeah, Quebec is a bit more European than the rest of Canada.
No, I'd say
A
more
bit more French.
Quebecer. Lots of Quebec actually don't are not separatists anymore. Separatism is really unpopular in Quebec right now. So Quebec sees itself as a state of Canada, definitely. But
Hmm.
they speak
Especially
French,
recently
right?
with all that happened, Canadians are very proud to be Canadian. Recently with the whole they don't want to be the 51st state and everything, and now they're very proud to be Canadian more than ever before. I never seen
All of a
people.
sudden,
Quebecer be so
Uh,
proud to be Canadian.
there's so many people
all of
I've
a sudden,
known that I always knew them, but now all of a sudden they're just so patriotic and so proud to be Canadian. They've never been before. I never noticed, but now they're like so proud.
Now they're federalists.
Yeah, now they're patriots all in.
well, it's politically convenient for them to be federalists because Quebec
Oh.
is the only province that didn't sign on to the Constitution that doesn't have any effect on the country that doesn't exist, anyways.
Yeah, but we still benefit from the periquity, right?
Sort
The
of.
what?
You're benefiting from the myth of the country. The idea that Ontario and Quebec are the happy, loving mother and father of our Canadian family. The Maritimes are the grandparents. Ontario and Quebec are the parents, and Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC are
The little boys.
the children, and the Nunavut and the Yukon territories and the Northwest territories. Those are the children that they've adopted, so that they can look good in front of the neighbors.
Oh
Parrots.
yeah, there's okay.
Fucking parrots everywhere. In Yukon,
Yukon, you can I don't know, but it sounds very beautiful over there. I never been.
it's cold all the
Me
time.
neither. Shit goes sideways out here, I might end up there.
You can do surfing over there.
Uh
Oh
huh.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
nice.
cool.
Have you?
Cold though.
Oh, yeah, how much is it over there usually?
To surf or to live?
It's cheaper to live, that's for sure. People go there because it's less expensive.
Oh, it's cheap, yeah.
Yeah, apparently
Yeah, nobody
if you go
lives there maybe.
north enough, you can have like free land. You just have to hold it for a long enough period of time, maybe 30 year, and then the whole plot of land is yours
Oh yeah.
because they want
We used to have
to
a
encourage
homesteading
people
act.
to do something with it.
There's so much available land. The country is so huge. It's crazy.
We used to have a homesteading act, a set of laws that governed how Canadians could go out into the wilderness of their own country and carve out a piece of it for themselves. And that Homesteading Act was killed in the late 60s, early 70s, but it was finally repealed. Um, and it's another one of those things that,
Bring back the Homesteading Act.
well, if I was king, that would be the main part of the program that I would bring in to restabilize the nation's economy over the next 50 years.
I think that's a good angle.
Start
I think that's a good angle, Jafari. If you were king, what would you do?
if I
Right?
What
was
is
king,
the? Yeah, yeah.
I would start a homesteading program where um, young men or any men could sign up for the homesteading program, and they could go out to some places that we want to have populated, places where we would like to have more towns so that we can have more points of economic di- di-
More
dispersal. Is
cities
that what
and
I'm thinking
stuff.
about? More
More.
places where people can trade money, right? We need to decentralize our economy in order to make ourselves wealthier. Because as long as our economy is centralized in banks and corporations, they're just going to keep chewing off whatever they can in these great big fucking chunks. And the way that you can make the people prosperous is you kick the fucking corporations out and allow people to start their own businesses, and you don't tax them too heavily, and you give them sort of incentives to make their businesses stronger. Like, let's say one of the things that we need to do in Canada is rebuild our military, but we can't go to war against anybody, and we can't really defend ourselves anymore because Trudeau's given all our fucking weapons and sent our trainers over to fucking Ukraine to be killed in the Kursk region, because that's where our fucking most expensive soldiers, the ones who are going to train the other soldiers, that's where they ended up, in fucking Kursk, in the Kursk offensive, and the NATO soldiers got murdered by the hundreds, and it wasn't fucking privates that they were sending over there. It was the people who ran the missile machines, that ran the radar defense machines, the people that had to be there because the Ukrainians couldn't be trained to run those machines. They were Canadians, they were Frenchmen, they were Germans, they were British, they were Norwegian, Polish, Australian, etc., etc. So the Russians have bodies in Kursk. The bulk of our equipment was sent to Ukraine to be blown up by the Russians, and the smartest, most capable men in our military were sent to Kursk to be blown up by the Russians. So we are
I
going to
heard a
need to
lot of
rebuild our
weapons.
military.
I heard
We
that
got
a
to
lot of
rebuild our
weapons
military.
were sold to Ukraine, and they resold it to some terrorist organizations and some cartels and stuff.
They sold them to the cartels that are presently invading our country when they're running away from
Yeah.
America, because like there weren't very many stories when they were talking about all the illegals that have buttoned down and are running away and trying to get back. There's not very many stories about illegals crossing back into Mexico. But you know what did happen? A lot of them crossed into Canada, and they were coming here anyways. They've already got houses. They've already got little forward operating bases set up. So that's a different thing. It's later on in the conversation. We have things to rebuild. Once we solve the problems, there's going to be war because of the drug gangs and the Chinese triads. And if it's not the Canadians that are fighting those drug gangs in Canada, it's going to be Americans that are fighting those drug gangs in Canada.
Yeah,
And
but
the
why not?
political establishment is
Don't
going to
we
go
have the
crazy
guns
when
and
that
the
happens.
guys anyway that want to do it? Like lots of people joining like the cops. They actually want to do those kind of raids, but that's not the job. You know, the job is like giving tickets or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I know these guys still do lots of fucking dirty work and lots of work in general because you ain't paying people to do like jack shit. Like they have to do stuff, you know. So they
Uh-huh.
probably like have a full fucking schedule with like insane tasks in there, probably, you know. Like I've heard stories of cops, and I've heard stories. I was like, yeah, okay, that's hardcore, man. It's like you're kind of not paid enough, like whatever.
Well, like
Whatever
what?
you're paid is that's not enough. Like if someone like kills himself, like someone has to step on that scene, right, to like, notice it in the first place.
Yeah.
So like they always
To
call
witness it.
cops. Yeah, exactly. So like everyone that gets shot, whatever, like suicide stuff, fucking gore scene, bro. And like you see that on like semi-regular basis.
Yeah, it's
Let's
hard
say.
psychologically for sure. Huh? Just to
Yeah.
see those kind of things all the time.
Well, aside from cops, um, paramedics and firefighters um,
Oh
actually have
yeah.
it worse because um, if they show up to every corpse. It's going to be
Yeah, seeing people die
firefighters.
every
At least
single
the
day.
firemen, at least sometimes the corpse is burned up. They don't even see it. They don't have to deal
I
with it.
I know a
But
few people that
I'm just saying.
well living on Salt Spring, they got into the volunteer fire service, and they've got just an enormous turnover rate. You know, these people spend 4 or 5 years training, and then they get out there and they're actually working on the job for 5 6 months maybe, and then they see their first real tragedy, and they're just like,
Yeah,
"Don't ever call me for this again."
and you're always on call. It's like you're sleeping 3 a.m. whatever. You gotta wake up and go. There's no.
There's
It's
different
stressful job.
schedules. You know, you're going to be scheduled to be on call, and then there's going to be days when you know you're not going to get a call unless there's
Oh,
some
that's good.
really, really, really big thing.
Unless
But
something happens.
and
Yeah,
one of the
coup or
problems
some
is that
stupid shit.
there's keeners, sort of really enthusiastic people that are trying to make their career in the volunteer fire department. You know, so they're the ones who are going to be racing to every call that they can get to. They're actually like endangering the people around them by being so eager. And yeah,
And
those
all the
guys.
smoke you're breathing in and everything, it must be not good for the body also.
No, no.
You're
Well, they've
always in
got
the
equipment for
smoke
stuff
room.
like that.
Yeah, yeah,
They've
I'm
got.
sure, but
We got a big training facility here on Salt Spring. Where we see an awful lot of that stuff. They'll warn us in the community. They'll be like, "Hey, if you see big pillars of black smoke coming out of the Fulford Valley, like we're going to be training
Ooh.
international firefighters all weekend.
yeah, no,
So
don't be alarmed.
don't call the fire department. We're already there." And so yeah, I've seen weekends like that, long weekends like that, when they're having firefighter training episodes, and there'll just be like this huge pillar of fucking black smoke automobile fire going off like for 3 days straight.
Oh yeah, they're
No,
just
I'm
burning up.
exaggerating,
Well, what are they
but
burning up? Just like buildings or?
well, they've got test sites, training sites on island. So they'll like they've I think they've even had competitions here where you've got stuff like storage containers or like metal built buildings that look like wood buildings that they can go in and slap some construction material on and then set it on fire so that the
Yeah.
firefighters they'll get all their gear on, and then the part of their training regime will be going into this actual burning room, but there's a metal superstructure that's there, right? So after all that
Ah,
shit
so
burns off, they come in and they tack some new stuff on there for the next one. They create a closed room environment that's suitable enough to simulate the firefighting exercises.
it must be
Um,
well organized because if you lose control and the whole island burns up, that'll be pretty
yeah,
crazy.
well, you could look it up on Google Maps. There's trees close by, but they're pretty careful about selecting their times and their days. And if there's a really windy day, they wouldn't be doing it.
No, no, I'm
Last
sure
year
they
they
know
were
what they're
doing
doing. That's for sure.
last year they were doing like or a couple of years ago, I guess, because I was living down the road from the fire hall. They've got some big fields that are attached to the fire hall, but also there's an awful lot of farmer fields in the direct vicinity of the fire hall. So they were doing what helicopter insert and extract exercises. So we had the big, like oh, what are they called? Search and rescue helicopters. Hovering just 3 blocks down the road all day for 2 days, all business day. The helicopter went up at like 8:30 in the morning, and sure it came down at times, but they brought it down, they refueled it, and they sent it back up just so they could take firefighters and have them jump out of a real live helicopter and then do the work of like bringing them back up with a body or a weight. But it's all for that high tech or not high tech SAR tech, search and rescue tech uh, stuff.
That's good. That's gonna
Mm.
be one of those hard jobs to do.
I have a lot of respect for those guys.
Yeah, even the it's a lot less intense, but even the guys that the snow blowers, all the people that take out the snow in the streets, even they respect to them. They're working hard. A lot. I always hear people complaining, and they can't do all the streets in one night. You see them working,
No,
that they're doing what they can. It's not easy, that's for sure. Well, I mean,
Montreal was a trip though when I lived
yeah.
there. The whole idea about um, the plows, the plow crew, they pull up to your street and they just fire off an alarm, and everybody's supposed to get out of bed and go down to the,
Oh
go
yeah,
down to the street and pull their car out of the snow and pull it
but
around the
that's
block.
only
And
if you're parked in the wrong spot.
I've
That's the people that are parked in the wrong spaces that their alarms because oh you're not supposed to be parked there because they were supposed to clean up the road and you're parked in the middle. They have
but
like
in Montreal in a snowstorm, and it's been snowstorming for days, and there's fewer and fewer places every minute for you to park all the vehicles that used to be there, and
it's
eventually it all
Montreal,
just
it's
becomes
hard,
this
yeah.
cluttered little pack. People are sticking themselves in where they can. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember
that was
sometimes
the thing to me. It was like I didn't have a vehicle, but I was like I saw it was a snow day, and I was perfectly happy to just stay in bed and not have to worry about going to work that day. And then the fucking alarms went off, and I was like, "Whoa, what the hell is that?"
yeah, no, that's
There's me
crazy.
being a fresh Montrealer,
Yeah,
never
that's what it
experienced
is.
winter there before.
I remember sometimes I had to because I walked to work. So I sometimes I had to repark. I had to wake up before work, repark my car, try to find a parking space in time before I can go to work, because I had to just repark
Uh,
because they were gonna plow my street. So I had to wake up very early. I'm like, I'm gonna have to find a new space. Everybody was looking for spaces at the right at the same time
at the same time,
because
yeah,
everybody wakes up in the
that's
morning to just switch up the place, and it's crazy. It's just so chaotic.
what struck me as so backwards about the whole thing. Is like block
Yeah.
after block after block. You're making the whole city fucking wake up and move so that you can run your plows. Like, and what about those situations where like you're not on the same schedule that they expect you to be? What if you go to work at fucking 4:30 in the morning and you're not there at 6:30 in the morning to move your car?
Yeah,
Like
man,
the
those
situation that
graveyard
you're in,
shifts are crazy, man.
Yeah, no,
They should
that's
pay
your
people
car's going
at
to get
least
stolen.
double or something during those graveyard shifts. You're that's
Well,
putting your life at Joe party, literally.
yeah. I worked for a year during the night.
Oh yeah, that's true. You did that,
it's
eh?
annoying as fuck.
Yeah, I worked at the gas station during the night shifts. It
It
was,
kills a man,
It's
but it was fun.
literally.
I
ha-
enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
how did
I wouldn't have
you
done
did
it
have fun?
longer. It was
Did
just
it
I
mess
was
up your
alone.
sleep?
Yeah, not that much, but a little bit. Yeah, I already didn't sleep much, but I was just chilling. I was listening to podcasts. I went out, smoke a little joint from time to time.
Hmm.
It wasn't that bad. It got boring after a while. It's not that exciting. You don't really do anything.
The nicest thing about night shift is that there's nobody else around.
Yeah, the nice thing is I listened to so many
Yeah, that's
podcasts.
the
Like I
only
would
nice
never
thing.
listen to. I was always listening to stuff, and I went through so much content I would never been able to. I don't
But
know if
then, do
that's
you know
good,
what's
but
the bad stuff about night shift? Is that there is people around, but those
Oh
people
yeah,
like you don't want to mess with them,
no,
and
there's
it's
yeah,
like
I had
they're the
some
night
weird
shift.
clients.
so.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
only people that are out are actually looking for trouble.
yeah. I had a weird guy that wanted to sleep with me. That was coming around and was like, "Oh, come by my house and everything." He was telling me all sorts of weird things, and it was very strange.
Hmm.
Once there was two guys
Was
that
it
came
flattering
in.
at least?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it, but it was kind of weird that after a while, it was like, just, leave
Didn't
me alone.
mind.
Just, oh,
It's
no,
nice to
because
get
if,
the
Please.
attention. It's a
someone tells
compliment.
you you're pretty and everything, it's okay. I'm not gonna get mad, but
Yep.
after a while, it's like, leave me alone. I'm not gonna go
You're
to
the
your
wrong
house.
kind of person to be telling me I'm pretty.
I'm not going to your house. I mean,
Uh huh.
But there was also like other clients that there was two that wanted to fight with me once.
Oof.
Like they came in and they were just looking at me weird. They were like, you think you're better than me because you have a job or something?" I was like, "I'm not even saying anything. I'm just like, it's 4 a.m. I'm tired. I don't
You
know."
think you're better than me because you
My
have a
face
job.
maybe looked weird because I was tired. Maybe I looked had a resting
Mm-hmm.
bitch face or something. But they were just
Because
like,
you didn't like sparkle up when the crackhead came through the door and go, "Oh, good
yeah,
morning, sir.
yeah.
Can
I
I
was
get you a
just like
cup of tea?"
tired, and he was, "Oh, you think
That's
you're better
that.
than
That's
me
what you
because you
have
have
to
a
do with
job or
these
something?"
guys.
Yeah, I'm not think you're better. I don't think I'm better than you because I work at
That's
the Circle
absolutely what you
K. I
have
mean,
to do with
Circle
these
K is
guys.
not the, Kushtar is not the peak of life.
Yeah,
I wasn't thrilled.
It's like these guys
not
are playing a
stacking paper.
character in a novel, so you have to be like kind of part of the flow if you want to like be fine with it, just survive the thing.
Yeah, and then before I started around May, end of April, May, something like that. And before I came in February, there was a holdup in the gas station I
Ooh.
worked.
And never when you worked.
No, when I worked, it never happened. I never had any issues. Just sometimes like weird people, but nothing crazy.
So it
But
concentrated all the luck in your favor. Since
yeah,
it
yeah, I was
already
good.
happened, it was the safest moment.
Yeah, it was the perfect time. The guy,
Mm-hmm.
because the door is locked during the night, he opened the door for one guy, and the guy held the door open, and there were like 4 or 5 people came in from the behind the store, running inside
Uh,
with hammers and everything, and they just wanted the money. But during the night at the gas station, we don't have that much money in the register, and there's not much to take really. They just took a lottery and cigarettes and like maybe $100 from the register. They didn't
Yeah,
get that
it's
much, and they got
the
hundred
caught.
lottery
dollars.
tickets all have serial numbers on them, though, too, eh? So if they get stolen, they get canceled.
Yeah, and the lottery ticket is not activated, so it's like, you know.
If it's like if you
Mm-hmm.
steal a prepaid Visa credit card,
I think
like
yeah,
no one cares. It's like
you're
you
not
stole
gonna
a bit
do
of
anything.
plastic.
And they got caught immediately because the guy he called the police. There's like a button under the register. He
Mm-hmm.
called, and immediately they were caught like leaving the gas station. They were caught
Nice.
on the road to the next town. The police put like the on the street, when they put the, how do you call, the vis, le clou, the clou,
Oh yeah.
Uh,
the screws, the screws.
APB is the an all points bulletin, but or is suspect alert. They use all different kinds of language.
I love how they're like nice. We get to like use the tools.
Yeah, they were excited. I'm sure. Oh, nice. We
Yeah.
can use the screw mat.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's see if this guy goes in the decor.
It was like a few Arab guys from Laval. They
Oh,
robbed a
They're
that's
few
not really from
places on the
Laval,
way.
though, are they?
yeah.
They're not really from Laval.
I mean, they're from Laval, but yeah, they were caught. They're the few robberies, and they were caught after that one.
Oh, good.
So it doesn't pay. It's one of the stupidest crimes. Robbing gas stations of all things.
Even
In
the
this
bank
day and age.
is just shit. Shit way to make money. It's like the most risk for the least rewards.
Yeah, you'd make more money looking for change on the streets, I think.
Yeah.
At
Well,
least you keep them.
reliable cash actually.
At least you can keep it, and nobody's running after you.
Mm-hmm. You can make more money busking. Just
Yeah,
sitting out with a
anything
sign
makes.
saying "Please help."
Yeah, anything makes more money than. Well, I mean, if
But
people look for the
you got to
easy
work
way
for
out.
that, though.
Yeah, easy way out.
Even if you're begging, that's a kind of begging that is still got some labor attached to it because you have to hold your cup up. You have to look at people with a sad face.
It doesn't
You know,
You
produce
have to be a
any.
good
you get
actor.
uh,
Yeah, you have to be a good
My
one.
friend was actually arguing that it did produce a value because the person that is giving you money feels good about it. So you're selling
It
that feeling.
depends. You can feel bad about giving the money. You're like, oh fuck, I have to give money to this guy to look good. Because you're
uh huh.
passing by, the people are looking at you like, I gotta give him like a few cents. So people are gonna looking at me. You don't feel good sometimes, but it depends on
Imagine
the
that might be
person.
like part of the intimidation scam that could go along too is if you had somebody out there who was begging for change and 4 or 5 of his friends were standing
Looking
around,
at
sort
you,
of
yeah, just
crowding the
staring you
sidewalk
down.
and looking at you, like you better give that guy some money, you cheapskate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
even
dying.
That
even a
might work.
single guy one on one, he can be like, give the feeling that it's so life or death that if you don't give him the change, like some physical altercation will happen, and then people just crack
Yeah.
and give them the fucking change,
I only give them change if I see like legs or arms missing. I'm not giving.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
If
Yeah,
you
if I
really
see
need it, yeah, I'm
real
gonna give it to you.
physical arm,
Yeah, if you have no legs, okay, yeah, I'm gonna help you out. But if you're just chilling, hey, get a job,
Please,
do
sir,
something.
can you help me? Looks like you still got all your fingers, son.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
you're
a young, healthy man. Get to
not
work.
even missing
Why don't you go
anything.
shuck
Like,
oysters or some shit?
Yeah,
I
why are
feel
you on the
bad about
streets?
giving you change.
Yeah, I'm gonna spit in your face.
Fucking
But no,
A.
no, no, no. Maybe not that much, but
It could get
Pull
dark in
yourself
here.
up by your bootstraps. Yeah,
No,
it's
but
like pull
sometimes it's
yourself
like
up by
that,
your bootstraps works until you lose enough like
Yeah, like we knew a guy that
bits,
went to be homeless around, and he was just sitting around streets and being homeless. Like, don't you have anything more interesting to do? It's you're just sitting around on the streets asking people for money. It's just, it feels like this. I don't know. It feels like the lowest of the lowest of a person can do.
There are some people who make, a couple $100 a day just with their hands
Yeah,
out.
I'm sure you can, but no.
I've never, I don't think I've ever begged. I've always had something. Um,
I don't think I would be. Yeah, it's
I had chapbooks for a while when I spent some time learning how to express myself as a spoken word artist and learn how to um, like allow my poetic expression to flow free and had a place that I could do that. And why am I talking about that?
I
I
think
Just
could
that's
remembered.
get a lot of
something.
money doing that.
But that's something, like the people on the streets that make paintings or something. They do
Mm.
music. It's they're doing something. But
Yeah.
I made chapbooks of my poems, and when I was breaking out of society, I had those. I knew how much money I had to make on them to be able to afford to make
But
more of
you
them.
see, that's really good money. Like playing music and like paying the bills because you play such
oh,
good
that's
music
nice.
that people
Yeah,
like pay the thing.
Yeah,
That must feel fucking awesome, and that's real work.
yeah. If somebody's got talent and they're out on the streets, I don't consider that begging. Right? If they're
And
out
this
like
guy is
busking.
hustling way more than
if
the
they're doing
artist that
something
goes on a
nice.
stage once a year and does like one big spiel. This guy has
Mm,
more talent than those guys because he's out there practicing every day. So even if he doesn't have the media presence to actually like do something in the marketplace which he can sell for money and everything, even if he does like technically peanuts, he is really talented, at the end of the day.
he's really doing it.
Yeah, he's
Not
really
only is he
doing it.
talented, but he's doing it the way that he's supposed to, and he's like hopefully getting an awful lot of artistic fulfillment out of that. Although the money, well, that's the thing, like once you get the money, you lose the art.
If you do it,
So
yeah, yeah.
if you really do love it, then you've got to keep yourself in a state of existence where you can continue to love it poorly. Otherwise, you're going to lose, or love it strongly. Otherwise, um, you're going to lose your drive.
Yeah, because if you love it for the money, then you get the money, and then what? You know?
Well, you have a big steak dinner, and then you have a nap instead of writing a song about how hungry you are.
Yeah, exactly. And then you end up like all of them.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's like you only really have talent when you're hungry because
That's the thing. So the
you
trick is like to keep hunger to a satisfying level. I feel like Quebec is doing that really good.
it is an important
They're so
admonition
good at it, man. Hunger is present
to
always in at least 30% proportion at all time.
It keeps
staying
you active.
hungry makes you more active. You want to be more active, and it increases your response times. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Staying hungry puts you
To sleep
back
almost.
into a more of a caveman kind of a frame of mind where your ability to respond to danger is far sharper. And you can also have other benefits where I don't know whether it's a bug or a feature, but you start being able to um, assess how much meat everybody's got on them.
Oh, that's why it's
uh,
good to. I
I
think fasting and everything is good. Those kinds of things are
I
good
don't
for you.
I don't have the temperament to be a cannibal. And I don't let myself get so hungry that I like actually think about biting into my best friend's arm or anything like that.
Free food.
Um, but but there is a real strong change in my connection to the rest of the world from staying mostly hungry. You know, I get up in the morning. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning if I can be. Still training myself to get up at that time. I try and do it without an alarm, but I do like 3 hours of workout, and then I'm home for a couple hours. I walk my neighbor's dog at noon before I ever get around to thinking about making food, and so I start cooking around 1 o'clock. Probably got lunch in me by 3 o'clock, or my one meal, and then well, tomorrow's going to be an off day. I don't go to the pool for physio tomorrow, but it's going to be the same meal tomorrow with a couple hours of work in the garden, and then on Wednesday it's going to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning and walk to the pool and get as much exercise as I can out of my body before I eat, and to not be exhausted, but to, like, do all kinds of exercise, but then still have the energy to pack my stuff up and walk back to town and get myself home and
Yeah, I noticed even at
my
work,
chores.
immediately after lunch, I'm just so tired. I have no more energy. Before lunch, I'm all productive. I'm doing all sorts of things. Then as soon as I eat lunch, I'm I'm just slow motion for the
You got
rest
to
of the day.
digest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So I wait until my day is done and then I eat. And now I don't have anything else to do, nothing else pressing. But if one of my friends showed up with an emergency, say, "Hey, I need you to come and work with me for a couple hours," I could get up right now and go do that.
Yeah, it's you're not
And
incapacitated because you're full.
yeah,
But
and so yeah, there's a Buddhist idea about like when you eat, no matter how many meals you eat a day, but when you eat, only eat 75% of what would take to fill your belly, so that even though you've eaten, you still leave a layer of hunger on top of it. Keeps the
mm,
mind sharp.
So even if you eat, you don't eat to satiety, so that you're always looking for kind of more. And it also, I guess, makes you look for better source of food actually, because since you have a limited intake, you actually choose
yeah, you're
like
not gonna
what you
waste
put
that
in the
much
intake.
shit. Yeah,
If it's like if you can put only 1 liter of gas in your car, you'd put like the best octane
yeah, to
because
make it run, yeah, good.
a little
Kinda.
bit
That's
farther.
that's part of the
That's
trip
true,
is
yeah.
figuring out that some things mold into my diet really easy, or stuff that I should have been eating since I was a kid is just like plain meat, plain potatoes, a few vegetables, and a lot of eggs. Like I've eaten grains
A
for
plain, you don't like a sauce or a little
my
bit
whole
of
life.
something.
Sorry.
You don't like a little bit of a sauce or something, you just eat plain usually?
Oh, sometimes. Well,
Like
I
you can
I
make like a
I put
mushroom
salt and
sauce.
pepper and nutritional yeast, and let me see. When my garden was done this year, I had several tens of pounds of tomatoes that I had to ripen in the paper bags. And as they came ripe, I made many, let's say, 4 liter pots of tomato sauce that
Oh yeah, that's good.
while I had it, I was just dumping that right onto my food. But that's like tomatoes from my garden with hardly any salt, few herbs in there.
Yeah, that's
And so,
perfect.
yeah, I will put some sauce on stuff, but it's like
The
I had to
best.
give up on ketchup because
Yeah, yeah,
it's
ketchup is
chock full
another.
of sugar.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's mostly
And
sugar.
There's other sausage, and you can make your own. I like a lot of
yeah,
different. It adds a lot to the experience.
I I keep a pot of chicken bones cooking on my stove. Well, if I had a wood stove in the wintertime, it'd be cooking all day. But because I live in a camper, well,
how
I have
is
this pot of
the
chicken broth.
how is the camper life? How do you like it?
I not particularly. I'm glad I got the one that I got. Um, if I
Hello?
lived in an honorable country, I probably would have never ended up here.
How long
Um,
have you been? How long have you been on a camper?
I've been living in
Okay.
this one for almost 20 years,
Oh, 20 years. Okay.
and I was in a smaller one. When I came out to Salt Spring, I was escaping penniless, effectively. All of my efforts up until the point that I'd hit 30, um, uh, there was a minimum of success. I've
Yeah.
got some family trauma stuff that led to some uh, mental health issues. One of the things that I had to deal with is manic depression,
Yeah.
which is mostly depression with occasional bouts of weird mania. But um, what would happen is whatever it was that I was working on is that there'd always come a week or 2 weeks or some period of time where I was just incapable of getting myself out of my room, basically getting myself out of bed and getting out there and
Okay.
doing it. And I've lost an awful lot of stuff by not being able to get to work, you know?
Well, that's for sure.
Lost jobs. Lost job means no paycheck. No paycheck means no rent for next month. Means got no safety net and got no connection to family. So yeah, lots of times in my life where I built up as long as I could build up, and then got to the breaking point. And
Like a
once I
lone
recover from
wolf.
the breaking point, then I have to fuck off, right? And generally, I'd fuck off to another city and start again. And I think when I was 30, I was like, I'm tired of this shit. Um, Gathering up what little camping gear that I had. I spent the last of the money that I had, I think, buying myself a tent that would be suitable to go outdoors. And I just decided that I was going to go and find a new life somewhere. And toured around BC in the year 2000, looking for a place to call home. And I was in Salt Spring once that year, and it felt like at the time that I was standing here, I was like, I think this is it, but I'm going to go check out some other places anyways. And I'm glad I made it back to Salt Spring.
Yeah, Salt Spring is a
Uh,
great place.
so I've been here now 24 years.
How much did it change in 20 years?
Lots. Weather's changed a lot. When I first
There
came
used to
here,
be more snow.
it was the end of the rainy season. Let's say there was
Uh,
the first couple of years that I was here in the wintertime, you could count on every day when you went out, uh, there would be thick, fat raindrops that effectively seemed like they were falling from the ground. Um,
from the ground. Yeah.
yeah, it's not so much like you can have that effect in a place like Montreal where it rains so heavy that the raindrops are splashing up high enough that they're, you know, getting up under the hem of your girlfriend's dress, perhaps, or you're, feeling the splashes coming up under your umbrella. Um, and there's just so much moisture in the air, anyways. Just walking through it is just like walking through a sponge. Well, same kind of situation. There is that very much the rain coming down, but then the offshore winds would change that uh, change the direction of that rain as it's falling down. The wind would come scraping across the parking lot and hit a bump, and it would just as it was coming up off of the concrete barrier, it would pick up a handful of rain and throw it right up in your face as it went past you. And so you'd have like the rain coming down all the time, and then wherever you turned, you'd have rain coming in sideways and like
It's
right
just
up under
every
your rain
way.
gear.
There's rain
And
coming from all the sides. Yeah.
it was the kind of place where I met a bunch of my first winter friends because we were the ones who were standing outside in our gear, enjoying the weather, hand rolling our cigarettes and drinking our coffee in the rain. And all the other people that lived around here, the yuppies and the the more sort of normie people, they'd all be scurrying by in their cool casual plastic rain gear, and you know they'd have to scurry through this crowd of like five or six grizzled Grizzly Adams looking fellas with oilskin coats, and some of them had knee-high boots on, and like all looking like a bunch of wild men. But
Fancy.
we're standing out there in the worst fucking weather and just enjoying the day, having a Sunday chat. Um, and over 5 years, it got drier and drier over the winter, and now we have hardly any rain in the winter at all. Um, we get little periods of it, but it's nothing like it used to be, where we have, let's
It
say,
changed that
for the
much?
sake of for the sake of making a an argument, if I could say that 20 years ago, you'd have 1 million gallons of water fall out of the sky in an hour. Um, on an average rainy day, now we've got 1,000 gallons of rain falling out of the sky
Oh, so
in an hour. Like
that's a huge
so
difference.
much less that it's significantly noticeable. We have dry periods now. We have beautiful days, beautiful, nice days to go out and see the sunshine. But when I got here, it was cloudy and rainy all winter long, and I loved it.
Yeah,
I'm
even here it changed. Even from when I was younger, we have recently we have had so much less snow. Like the last few winters, it's not as been as bad.
mhm,
I remember when I was younger, we would have these little roads we would have, and the mountains of snow were bigger than me. They were bigger than my dad. They were huge. Now we're
mhm.
walking around, it's just little piles of snow, not even to my knee almost.
Where'd all the snow
It's
go?
changed. Yeah.
It's not in the Arctic. I think it ended up in like Nestle warehouses, effectively,
Yeah, they're taking all the water from African countries also.
taking as
Then
much as they can. And I imagine they put an awful lot of it into bottles to sell. But I can imagine if it's Nestle that because they're monopolists, that they're taking as much water as they can get and warehousing it, and uh, that's the real purpose. That the retail sales of the water are like a false flag, a front, and what you've really got is Nestle just depleting the aquifers of the world so they can put them into warehouses. And I'm just like, these people obviously don't know about the water cycle. They're making changes on the surface of the earth with their actions, but they don't understand that they can't take enough water out of the water cycle to fuck up the water cycle. It's
there's
not
always
permanent.
water, right? There's always so much water, and it's we're never gonna run out. Huh? There's just so much of it all the
Apparently
time.
not. We have allegedly, um, whether this is hidden knowledge or if it's just not been properly found out yet. But the idea that there are vast underground oceans of fresh water um, that are, part of our continental
Yeah, there's even
substructure. That
underwater lakes or underwater like I saw a thing. It was a guy that went deep down underwater, and he found like an underwater lake, like another lake, and but he couldn't go down there. It was like a different kind of water or something like that.
I have heard of such things that
Yeah.
people have like somebody's scuba diving and they come across a pool of very obvious liquid in the ocean that's not water,
Yeah, it's
and they
like a
could touch
different.
it and it responds. They could stick a scoop in it and like pull it out and pour it, and it goes back into
Yeah, and like what
the
is that?
area
It's
that it's
like a
in. You pour it out to one side, it runs down.
different density of water or something. It's like it's like water and water. It's very it's a strange thing.
But you can distinguish between the two types of water.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so there's another thing that goes around on the internet every once in a while that that is a sailor in the that there's a visible line where the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean meet, and that if you take water from each ocean and put them into a cup and try and shake it up, that the waters won't mix, that they're
Hmm.
charged differently.
Different.
And that's the reason that there's a clear dividing line between the brown, muddy, warm water of the Pacific and the cold, green, blue water of the Atlantic, because they're charged differently. One's positive and one's negative.
That's crazy that they don't mix. There's like a wall of water, and
Mm-hmm.
our world is just so insane when you look into it. It's crazy how all of it works, and we don't know anything almost.
We don't know anything.
It's crazy.
The one thing that I do know, or I think that I know, I believe that I know, that I have faith in, that I would like to say publicly to
Yeah,
all of your 18 followers. Uh,
we're up to 19 now.
uh, yeah, that was me.
Thank you, thank you.
um, uh, Whatever you think God is a vibration,
Yeah, yeah. That's
and the path to God is harmonizing. You have to get
live
into
in
the
harmony.
vibration.
Live in harmony with
Well, yeah,
yourself and with the world.
but I say harmonize. That that you make an effort to make noises that sound as much as you can make that would sound like the voice of God if you were hearing it.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Yeah,
It's the
that's
it
how I also saw. Because I don't see God like just a random guy in the sky. I also think it's something like that, vibration or energy of love or energy, some kind of. It's hard to describe. It's hard to put into words exactly, you know. But
all
it's like
all things arise out of the vibration. That's how I put it into words. And so, it can become anything that we as pieces of God choose to make with it. So we can take the energy of heaven and we can turn it into hell if we want to, or we can take the energy of heaven and preserve it, or
and
we can stick it in the ground and pour some water on it. Maybe it'll grow flowers.
what in
Yeah,
your
it
opinion
does grow flowers.
is the purpose
Mm-hmm.
of this life?
To make meaning. The purpose of life is to make meaning, is to create things that you love, to create things that are important to you, to
To have these
fig-
experiences, this,
to have the experiences that teach you to be yourself, the self that you want to be, right? And that's where the conscious contemplation comes in. If you don't look at yourself, if you don't examine yourself, then, or if you think really highly of yourself, then everything that you do is awesome. And anybody else has got a problem with it is just a douchebag, right?
yeah,
But
that's
if you take a more sort of
honest. Yeah.
holistic view of the world, an honest view of the world, and you sort of say, oh, okay, well, aside from trying to get what I want for myself, what is a thing that I can do that would be good for the world in general? And you start thinking like that about what you can do.
That's how we
You
should
start
think. Yeah.
creating you start creating meaning, and you create space in yourself for the benevolence that we sort of expect from the imaginary sky daddy. You make space in your heart for that compassion and that generosity to be exuded from yourself by doing the work, by choosing to be good. If you
Yeah,
don't
that,
examine yourself, you're never going to make the choice about to try and be a better person. But most people, if they examine themselves, they'll come up with some stuff where they're like, I would have preferred not to have acted this way in this situation, or I wish I had the courage in that particular moment to have said this or done that thing,
if you don't regret
regardless of the
any of your
circumstances.
actions, there's a problem.
So you got to have experiences. I was just watching today. Somebody in a guru's voice is like, "You're a fuck up. You've always been a fuck up, but that's okay because the purpose of being here in life is to fuck up. You need to have the fuck up experiences so that you can learn the lessons, so you can not be a fuck up anymore. But being the fuck up is absolutely essential to not being a fuck up." And I was like,
Oh yeah,
"Okay,
you
well,
learn
that's a
from
little
your
bit."
mistakes. If you're smart.
It's a little bit low resolution, but that is indeed a great truth being compressed into the smallest
Some
resolution
bite
possible,
possible,
lowest resolution
yes.
possible.
The sound bites, that's
Um,
the real problem here.
Sound bites.
so
Yeah, because people only have a short attention span. They're not going to read a whole book of the Dalai Lama or listen even to a whole lecture. They're just going to want something that's said in two
A quick
sentences.
solution, yeah.
Two
they
sentences
Quick
they don't
hack.
max.
even want the koan, the the koan, the Zen poem, the one that your master gives you to contemplate for the next 40 years of this incarnation or the next 40 incarnations. Um, there's you know they're sort of like spiritual jokes or spiritual lessons, but there's like nowadays people don't even want the the clue to the fast path to enlightenment. They just want the fast path without having to do any of the human work to find themselves there. And that's unfortunate. They're they're not going to do that, but you know what they will do? They're going to create all kinds of experiences for the people that are on that path.
Yeah.
So that the people that are on that path, they're going to be like, I don't want to be that kind of douchebag. I'm going to have to take a look at myself to make sure that I don't act like that. And that's where it starts. And ultimately, where it ends is never. Ultimately, where it ends is um, a recognition that the immortal part of your soul is the is extracted from the immortal, immutable energy of divinity, which exists before our ideas, our human ideas of God, and creates the consciousness that is capable of considering God, is capable of considering a life path of choosing to be following the divine intention of a being that you can't even relate to on a direct level, that you have to use mask and poetic metaphor to relate to. But there is the vibration, the the energy of divinity that our ideas of God, um, how would I describe it? It comes forth from, arises from, comes out of, like coming out of water. Um, that's actually a good way to describe it. The Holy Spirit is water, and everything that lives in the ocean is its own idea of a God. But they're all, and this is the Christian epiphany, they're all fish
Yeah,
in the ocean
fish.
looking for water,
Because
right?
Yeah.
They don't
the
know that they're
water
in
is
God. They don't know they're
water
in the
is
presence of God.
symbolically it's the unconscious, and so then water is used as the general unconscious. This is why in the Bible you have the floods. Flood isn't like a literal flood. It's the unconscious overwhelming the population. And so
It's
Mm-hmm.
like
sometimes
a
there is a
flood of
little flood and
consciousness.
everyone died, but other times people just got overwhelmed by their own unconscious, and some horrible shit happened, like kind of a COVID vaccine 2019
A big event,
little
yeah.
scandemic. Yeah, but
People got scared and they locked their minds up when they got scared. And 5 years later, you can present to them all of the evidence in the world that was hidden from them 5 years ago, and they're still not going to change what they're scared about.
No, they're
They're
not gonna
always going to be
believe.
scared
They're
about
not
that.
gonna believe.
They won't believe,
and
and
so
they
the
won't change
fish
their mind.
knows he lives in the unconscious and can like navigate it, you know.
The conscious fish. This is what the Christian symbol of the fish is about. Is the the Christian fish is no longer looking for God, because the Christian fish is aware that he's a fish in the ocean of God. Right? But if you're the type of Christian that is still looking for God, this is what the Christian epiphany, the fish epiphany is about. Is like you are a fish looking for water. Right? We we don't exist at a distance from the miracle of creation. However, it is anybody chooses to describe it, or whatever description any group of black hearted Babylonian sorcerers might conjure up to try and trick you into believing into a different idea of God than what actually exists. there is still underneath that this divinity that all things arise from, and we are all always within it. And it is uh, it's as easy to connect to as it is to connect to your own as above so below internal worshipers that live within your own body, which is a whole other way to take the conversation all of a sudden. um, I gained my understanding of this relationship, or I've gained my growth into this theory of my relationship with God by contemplating my relationship to my mitochondria, the little farmer slash engineers that live in every single cell of your human body, and also live in every single cell of every other living thing on this permutation of existence that is more than a single celled creature. You get everything that's once you get multi-celled creatures, you get these little mitochondria living in the inside the creature that is
It's in
effectively
everything. Yeah.
an engineer farmer that is running the particular cell to its maximum optimization. Um, these mitochondria, they have their own DNA. They are very distinctly not you. They have their own language. They communicate amongst themselves within your body, and they are also capable of communicating to mitochondria that live in other people's bodies, because the mitochondria are self aware and they know that they live inside of us. And they know that they also live inside every other living thing. And they're capable of communicating at a distance without direct contact with all of the other mitochondria everywhere.
It's like the what is the mushroom? Under I forgot the
That's
yeah
the next
the
step.
mushrooms.
Where
The
do the
mushrooms are under
mitochondria
every
come from?
trees. The whole network of mushrooms on in the forests connect between all the mushrooms, communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same concept.
So
Yeah.
the mitochondria is a single cell personification of the mycelial imperative, not
Yeah,
structure,
mycelium. Yeah,
but
mycelium. Yeah.
what the mycelium wants to do. The the mitochondria is a far more advanced version of the mycelial communication network. And I'm so happy that you brought up mushrooms because I believe that mushrooms are an instrument of a divine instrument that is used to preserve genetic material on dead planets, dying planets, and transmit that genetic material to what will be living planets.
Oh, that's
Um, mushroom spores have a protein that coats the spore that, for some strange reason, is allegedly uh, incapable of being burnt in the hottest heat that they could imagine in the universe, and incapable of being cracked by the coldest cold. You've got a spore that can survive in the harshest conditions of space and travel like a microscopic piece of dust throughout the universe. And the um, the scientists that talk about this idea, they say that like a great part of the dust that is floating down onto the earth on a daily basis, cosmic dust, a huge portion of that is actually mushroom spores that are coming from outer space. Mushrooms that have been alive on other planets, that have had
insane. Yeah.
complex life forms, that when those complex life forms have died, they've eventually been eaten by those mushrooms, and the mushroom stores the accumulated genetic material of everything that it's eaten in its spore.
And it
And so
sends out the
when its job is
information.
done, it sends the information out into space. And so the mushroom at that point becomes the life preserver, the life knowledge preserver, divine tool created by the vibration to make sure that the things that lived on anywhere in the universe that they could live somewhere else
Yeah, that
also.
if you say we have
God knows that this
mitochondria
is a
that can
hmm?
communicate with, if you say we have mitochondria in our body that can communicate with others in other bodies, could we communicate through the mitochondria? You think, you like telepathic communication or something like that?
I'm getting to. That's where
Yeah.
the telepathy comes from having a healthy working relationship with your mitochondria
Oh, okay, okay.
and either developing those talents yourself or asking those entities within you to help you develop those talents because those farmer engineers that live in your cells, they have access to the blueprints of divinity, which is what they are trying to create.
Okay.
These human beings, these upright hominids with their eyes a good proportional distance above the horizon, right? That we can stand up. We've got extendable limbs with opposable digits. We've got brain pans that can contemplate. We are creatures that are capable of altering our own environments. We are not affected by nature, we affect nature.
We are
And I
nature, yeah.
believe that we, as sort of humanoid beings, that we don't exist just here on Earth, that there are many gardens throughout space, and there's many places where creatures very similar to us have been instigated or created to be a shell for the consciousness that is attached to your immortal soul, which you get from that shard of divinity. So all of that stuff has been created to be a house for your ghost when you show up. And so that your
Mm.
ghost can look through the eyes, and your ghost, your immortal ghost that's gone through these permutations in many different places, maybe here on Earth, maybe in um, different parts of the universe, but to us it would be indistinguishable. To us it would just be
Yeah.
like us having our like in our to our consciousness, I mean, to that ever living consciousness. Like if we had a good family experience on a planet that was on the other side of the universe for 5 or 10,000 permutations, things were just awesome there. It was the Garden of Eden there for a long, long time. There was no Adam and Eve to show up on day one and fuck it all up for everybody, right? It just and there was no rules against eating anything in the garden either,
What do
right?
you
It
think
was like
about
whatever.
the archons, the entities that supposedly feed of the negative energy that we create?
I
Oh, you're not. Oh, the sound went off.
Glitched.
Yeah, he glitched. We were getting too deep.
Archons that would supposedly control so the field of energy. The idea is well, basically archon. I believe archon means control or something like that, or means like, well, they do control like the matrix, the flow of energy in it, and
Oh,
so
we lost Jafari.
we
Yeah,
lost.
sorry. Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll try to add him back. And what was I saying? Laptop died.
Uh, yeah, we were saying about the archon. Yeah. Yeah. He'll connect back in not too long.
Uh,
All right, we'll be back shortly.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he'll be back shortly. His laptop died, and he's firing up the second laptop
Yeah,
to tell us that
it's
knocked
been
out the
an
power cord loose. Classic.
it's been a good for now. It's
Uh,
a good first English episode.
but what do you know, Philip, about the Archon though? That's the thing.
I only know what I read, you know.
And what did you read?
All I know is that supposedly it's some kind of entities that created this realm, and it tricked some souls, to come into here. So it was created it like it was some kind of paradise and everything. So it tricked a lot of souls to come in, but it wasn't like a paradise. It's like a place where a lot of negativity happens and everything, and they create so much negativity and they feed from it. Now they create all the wars and stuff, keep people, and apparently they when you die, they convince you to come back to like keep you in this realm. You know, supposedly it's like a reincarnation trap. They keep you.
A reincarnation trap.
Yeah, that's what they say when in the light, you know, when you die, you see a light, and it's supposedly it's a fake light. You're not supposed to go towards the light. You're supposed to walk away. But if you go towards the light, you're gonna see whatever they want to
Then you
show
got
you.
scammed.
Yeah, if you believe in whatever God, they're gonna show you the God you believe in, and it's gonna convince you to come back to fix some things that doesn't really need to be fixed. So you come back, and you always come back into this realm that's made to to keep you down. But if it's true or not, I don't know. It's just it's what I read. You know, I was curious what Jafari knew about the subject.
Well, for sure there is those kind of forces, in life, in everyday life, because everything is a system we have to interact with that costs like life energy at the end of the day. And so if we just want something basic done, it ends up being a whole lot of work, which all costs money often, or time, and or resources, which
And
also costs money.
even all the news, everything is
It's
on.
just,
There's no good news. It's all like war and shit.
it
The
goes with it. It goes with it,
movies,
for
everything
sure.
is just war, shooting. The music is all drugs and whores, and it's all low
I watched a
vibration
good
things.
movie the other day too.
All
You
things
know,
to keep
there's
you.
still good movies.
Yeah, yeah, there's still good movies, that's for sure. But what movie did you see?
I saw Nixon Frost,
Yeah, well, what
and
it's about?
it's David Frost. He's a British talk show host slash interviewer. And when Nixon, there's the whole scandal with Watergate, and when Nixon resigns, he gets into his head that he wants to interview Nixon, and so because of like the ratings that the Nixon resignation had, like that many people watched the thing that he was like, if I can get all those people tuning in to a Nixon interview of like 8 hours, I'll make like bank. Uh,
And did it make
but
bank?
the whole operation has to turn around a Nixon confession of what he did on Watergate, of the wrongdoings.
And that's the whole movie is about that.
Yeah, the whole movie is about that interview basically, because the three first interview he just gets absolutely like stomped by Nixon, because Nixon is just talking about like, he's just stalling. He's just buying 2 hours by telling funny stories about stuff. He like he absolutely destroys your point, and then he tells a funny story that takes like 40 minutes, and then
Uh,
you get the second question, same thing. You still have like maybe one question, and then that's it.
so
So
he
like
didn't
they
give
did.
too much information. He knew how to talk.
Yeah, he absolutely knew how to talk.
But politicians, that's what they do. They talk to not say anything. That's the whole thing.
That's a job.
You talk, but you're not supposed to say anything.
Your
Just
talk, it's legalese. You just say a lot of words,
just say words that sound good.
a whole paragraph that sound good. But if you're curious about it, about what he says, and you actually like spend the compute that it takes to like unpack, you realize how fucking insane the actual idea is. Sometimes I talk with these people, I just like take a step back, and I'm like, wait, you're proposing this and that, but and then I'm like, but it's like obvious that you must see that it will lead automatically. It will lead where I say it will lead, but it ends up being a dark place, you know. So you don't necessarily want to go there, you know. That's it's like someone uh, in the example I have in mind is in the Bloc Pot political party, which is in turmoil right now in Quebec.
Yeah, what's going on with that party?
I I won't go into the details because it's up in the air right now.
Because we
But
had the chef last time. We had the president of the block pot
yeah,
recently.
yeah. Well, it's happening, man.
Yeah. What you were saying, yeah?
Yeah, the guy wanted to add a non-disclosure agreement to people who become like on the not on the payroll but on the administration. So if you become part of the administration, you have to sign an NDA, which means you cannot talk about certain things, you know. And so I was like, as a member, like I don't like the idea because that means everyone who becomes part of the admin will now have to sign this piece of paper. Like not
Yeah.
everyone is gonna want to sign the piece of paper. People are gonna read it and be like, okay, but that's like way too restraining for my life. Like I'm not gonna be able to actually not talk about which ends up being your personal life, you know?
Yeah. Oh, we got Jhafari back. Are you alive?
It's a one-two punch. First punch is a deco. The second punch,
It's a ban or what?
yeah, it's
We haven't had any issues with
Hello.
banning for now. Oh, hello,
no,
welcome back.
no, zero issues with banning. Thank you, YouTube overlords. Boost the algorithms.
Maybe because we speak in French, they don't know what we're saying.
Click those buttons. All the buttons you see, you can click with them, interact with them. They put the buttons. They want you to play in the maze.
Even the downvote button, is
Collect the cheese.
click all the buttons.
Cheese in the comments.
Cheese in the comments.
Cheese in the comments, probably. Considering the title of the episode,
Yeah, what did you call it? Did the Nazis win World War II? We didn't even talk about them. Is
well,
that a subject for today?
that's the subject for today. That's the title of the thing.
We're gonna have to talk about it then, I guess, if that's a subject. We got too many Nazi titles recently. It's like we took another one with the Nazi word recently. But anyway, it is what it is. A title is a title.
It's all equal.
Yeah, it's all clickbait at the end of the day. It's just to make people click.
No, because I was talking with Jhafari the other day, and we were talking about Operation Paperclip, where USA, and that's all like you can go read it online. It's all common knowledge, you know. I'm not like spilling the beans on anything right now. That's like everyone should know that. That's part of the thing, okay? So
History.
the German
That's
lost the war,
conspiracy
okay?
theorist early training.
Hmm?
I said that's it's early critical knowledge for anybody who's going to be a conspiracy theorist to learn about Operation Paperclip.
No,
Yeah,
that's what you should know as a like individual being alive on Earth in 2025. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's less. People, I feel like, are less informed with time goes on. Even with all the technology,
It
you should have all the information, but
well, AI will bring about exactly that kind of revolution.
oh, that's gonna be AI is gonna be confusing. You're not gonna know what's the truth, what's fake, what's real.
The
It's gonna,
AI is all programmed by tech nerds.
yeah, yeah.
All you need to know.
But it's gonna start
Like,
programming itself at some point. It's gonna get so smart.
sure, but it will have all been started by the tech nerds. And the big
Yeah.
problem with the tech nerds is that they are, in general, it's not a slur against all of them, but they tend to be rate far lower for humanities directed protocols and morals. They're more machine oriented. They're more
Psychopaths
linear.
almost.
It's on the way. You know, they don't have to be psychopaths, but
No,
they're
no.
certainly in the right educational environment to breed that kind
Educational
of person.
environment.
To push out all emotions
You
and
think
just
they're
be.
being set up? You think our elite class is being set up?
Oh, of course. Oh, of course. The thing that the tech nerds will have realized, and if the nerds haven't realized it, then the AIs will realize it in a big hurry, is the people who are allegedly the masters of this domain are stupid and lazy and cowardly
AI
and
is gonna take
greedy.
over. I saw a
Yeah,
video.
generally.
There was two AIs talking to each other, making some order or something like basic task, and they were starting to communicate in human language, English. And at some point they were, oh, are you AI? Yeah, I am. Are you? And they were like, oh, so we can just talk normal. And then they just started talking in like unhuman, weird sounds. We're like, oh my god, this is starting to get weird. They're just communicating in a
They
different
just
way.
started
Their own language.
sending
Custom.
binary data,
Yeah, they're but like of
like when you used to turn
audio.
on your modem and dial up,
Yeah, they were like,
and it would be like a big screech.
we're talking to each other in like a weird way. I was like, what the hell's going on? You can't even understand. It's
Can I ask you guys something? Because I want to tell you, to me, your audio is very scratchy. Is my audio very scratchy?
pardon me.
No,
The
I can't hear
sound,
you.
the sound kind of I didn't hear what you said.
It's not a good sound, right? I'm gonna back out and come back in, see if I have a connection, because it's not good for me.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. It's a bit laggy, yeah.
Uh, okay, I'll be back in a
At
minute.
at first it sounded good, but I don't know.
The joys of living on island.
Island time.
Yeah, but apparently Elon Musk fixes that problem too. By the way, have you seen the video since the last pod? I'm deliberately not watching this video about Elon Musk doing a Nazi salute, okay? Because
Okay.
apparently, and I didn't watch that one, but I watched another one or another guy actually
Steve
does a
Bannon.
Nazi salute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw that.
Steve Bannon, yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
that, and I was like, "That's my art goes out to you."
It's yeah, it's weird. Like,
Salute.
what the hell is
Yeah.
going on? Where are the all? But it
Well,
wasn't. Not he did a weird one where he was talking, and he just did like this for all of a sudden in the middle of talking. I was like, it wasn't even from the heart. He wasn't saying anything like that.
it was just a Zeke. It was a free Zeke
It was
from the
strange.
origin.
I didn't understand really why he did that move.
Well,
But you didn't see the clip, no?
no, I deliberately didn't saw it yet. So if I'm
No,
not exposed to it, I won't see it. But I'm sure because I trust some people, which I listen to their podcast, who say they have looked at the clip and he actually did Ezekiel. That's that's what he did. That's what it is. You may call it my art goes out to you.
yeah, that's what people were saying, but it looks like something else. And why does the other guy do it also a few days later?
It is my art goes out to you salute. That's what he did, and that's what Steve Bannon did too.
Hmm. He's there
They're
giving
giving
out their
us of
heart.
their art.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know if I want their heart. But it's a strange, yeah, it's a Strange thing. Jafari seems to have a hard time
The guy is the richest
connecting.
guy in the world, and the whole narrative is that we're supposed to think this guy doesn't want to get richer out of the whole thing going on,
Yeah, he wants to get
because
power. That's all
yeah,
he
because
wants.
he has so much money, right? So you wouldn't care about more money, like,
Of course he would. He
and
wants more.
people, like reasonable people, like Joe Rogan of this world, are like, yeah, that makes total sense. If he has that much money, like Trump, he has so much money. Like
They always want more.
yeah,
It's like they asked a billionaire, how much is enough money, and he said it's just a little bit more.
that's it.
It's never enough. You just always
Even a
want
little bit, not even a whole lot.
just a bit more. It's never enough.
The guy with 18 billion at his active that just wants 2 more billion.
Yeah, I need a bigger yacht.
Yeah, for the bigger yacht.
I don't know. My cars don't fit on my yacht.
And these yachts are real, like, how do you say, they create jobs for people to run the whole ship, because you have to have a captain and the cooks, and like every like activity on the yacht has to have like a staff.
Yeah,
And
they
these things are huge, and they employ like 500 people.
yeah. It's not just the yacht you buy. You have to pay the whole employees.
Yeah,
It costs so much money.
there's a whole payroll attached to the thing.
It's very. It costs a lot of money to be rich.
But then you have
Stay
the
rich.
yacht, so
Yeah, you can flex.
it's, I mean, if you have that kind of money, it's maybe worth spending that money to like create cool employment opportunities. People get to build super cool ships, right?
Yeah.
And then you drive it, and they're paid like super well, to build your yacht.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna invite soon a guest, a helicopter pilot. He gets paid a lot of money just to drive people around. Helicopters, like rich people or whatever.
Yeah, that's honestly like the helicopter, like the whole way it works is wholly crazy, and it works well actually. I'd wonder like how intense it gets. Like some of these trips, if the wind is just like shitty enough or something, like I wonder how it must feel, because there's so many like helicopter
It's
incidents
hard to
that
control,
everyone knows about. Stevie Ray Vaughan, uh, Kobe Bryant.
and it's much harder to land than a plane, which is surprising. I thought a plane. No, it's actually no. It's yeah. It's harder to land. I thought it was just you just go down, but there's a whole thing. You have to do so many things when you land. It's apparently it's very complicated.
It's way more complicated than a plane, for
Uh,
sure. But
yeah,
the plane, you have to land still on the lane, but you know where the lane is, you know where you're going.
but apparently here you have to do so many maneuvers just to go down in a nice way.
Holy shit.
Doesn't sound very easy, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's like life-threatening stuff. You have to just do it right.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it in
Yeah, there is a
maybe
subject
next
there.
one or the next after. I have a friend that's a helicopter pilot. I think it's gonna be
There
an
there is
interesting.
this subject here. There have been 87 confirmed airplane accident in the U.S. since January 2025. So, and that's posted by 50 Cents.
And that's wild. And there's been so many airplane crashes recently. I've heard. I haven't gone into the details, but I've heard a lot recently. One that landed upside down. Stuff like crazy stuff has been going on.
It's a human sacrifice to
Yeah,
uh, to Baal or something. That'd be my guess.
Alright, I think Jafara is done for today.
Well, the computer died a root.
Yeah. Well, we'll have him back at some point, that's for sure. It was an interesting conversation. We'll have more English episodes in the future,
For
and some
sure.
and some French ones too. We're gonna be the only true Canadian podcast.
True Canadian with
Are there
TM.
any? Are there
True
any
Canadian TM.
actual bilingual podcasts? I've never heard of any. Might be a new trend we're setting.
Yeah, it is. I feel like it is the future trend because people do speak more than two languages once that, and also it also allows to broaden the scope. And what I feel like people miss, and I feel like some people promise, even people I like, that's what they promise, but that's what never gets delivered, is like real conversation with real human beings, and just
Yeah.
like it's not like crazy like a high net worth individual, or even that could be cool, but it's not like.
Anyone really.
But
Doesn't
that's
have
what's
to be a
interesting, is
celebrity.
that normal life people that actually live in this country and pay taxes and like pay the bills,
Yeah,
just
and what do
toilet,
they have to say, about the about life and everything? Yeah, it's good. I think that was a good one for today. Do you have anything? Do we hit up a last subject, or you're good for tonight?
I have a whole bunch of them if you want to do like an after show or something. It was really good talking to Jhafari.
Yeah, it was a perfect guest. I really
I'll do
enjoyed
more.
the last two. Were great.
Yeah.
You really pulled through with
Oh,
the
we
guest.
didn't talk about Vanunu.
We, we didn't. Next time.
No. Does he know about Vanunu Mordecai? I have lots to say about denuclearization and Vanunu Mordecai.
We're gonna have to keep it for next time. Or you can say it now if you want.
Yeah, but
But if you want to say it with
we won't
Jafar, I
have
would.
his take on Vanunu, that's for sure.
We'll wait for the next one.
I'll talk to him in private so
We
he
had
can
a
be filled in and
we
do
had
his
a
own research.
few little subjects I sent. I sent you about a new prison concept that could see inmates serve sentences in minutes. They're
Yeah,
like
that's crazy, man.
they're plugged into some kind of AI, and their brain is reprogrammed, and they don't even serve years in prison. Their just brain is reprogrammed by AI, and they just go back out.
What do you mean? That's Chinese propaganda. I won't
It's
believe it.
it's
I
some kind
won't
of
believe
new.
that.
There's some articles about it I recently saw. It sounded pretty interesting.
It sounded pretty true or pretty interesting. Those are two
Eh,
different things.
oh, interesting. It sounded pretty interesting.
Yeah, okay, okay, that's
It
what I
sounded like
thought.
an episode of Black Mirror or something.
Have you seen that news about someone, some rich guy? No one knows this guy, okay? He's completely anonymous in this. But he burned 1.4 ETH. No, more than that. He burned $1.4 million US dollars in Ethereum token to like send a message that some Chinese director of a company like used that same tech you're talking about to reprogram their own employees.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he burned $1.4 million saying it. So that the message is lives forever.
Hmm. It is weird the whole
And no one knows this
brain
guy, and I
reprogramming.
feel like this is propaganda. Someone with a lot of money is burning this to make a story. It's just a story. It's a new story for 1.4 million.
Yeah, maybe. But you can. I think you can. With like
If money is fake, 1.4 million isn't big to create a new story.
you
Money
can
is fake,
reprogram
so
somebody. You can reprogram somebody's brain like with electroshock therapy. You can destroy somebody completely. They're not gonna be the same person anymore. So maybe somehow they can reprogram and they just take out the humanity. Not the humanity, but they can maybe just destroy them somehow, and
Yeah,
they'll
you
be.
can just press a button and it wipes, and you can just like code anything you want. You have like a robot.
It's a strange thing. This whole
Its
AI.
values and everything. What do you think of the new alliance between the United States and crypto?
It's new.
Well, I feel like it is. The guy just has released like huge comments, and he's clearly pumping crypto. I meaning the guy by the guy. I'm talking about Trump.
Yeah. There's like the what is the whole Dodge thing? Was it
Doge,
was that a crypto? I hear about the Doge or something.
basically the Department of Government Efficiency, which is
Yeah.
the proposed department, which is now a department and is headed by Elon. That spells Doge.
Yeah. Okay, so it has nothing to do
Yeah,
with crypto. Yeah, no, that's
but it's also crypto.
yeah. It's also crypto.
So and now those two things, those two asset class. Well, there's one is an asset class, and the other one is a department, but also a joke about the asset class. So now this coin is correlated to the whole idea of the Department of Government Efficiency. So it's not directly, it's indirectly correlated.
It's
You
funny
know?
because the whole thing started because of the dog meme, Doge dog. You know the kind of Japanese dog.
Yeah, the Doge.
Yeah, it started from that, and it just became a whole thing.
Well, it started from Bitcoin actually, and people who wanted to mock Bitcoin created the Dogecoin, which was like a shit. He wanted to mock not
It's
only
like a meme
Bitcoin
coin.
but the whole concept of like I take coins and I make my own shit coin, and now people will buy that shit coin thinking it's like some store of value or something, but it's just another shit coin, and it has stuck around. It is one of the popular shit coins, but it's nothing. It's like a Bitcoin, but it inflates away. It's on purpose. There's more and more Doge released. So it's like even if people buy, it still contracts in value.
Yeah, it's the whole crypto thing. I've never completely gotten into it. I hear a lot about it, but I've never dove deep inside of it.
Well, every crypto has its own like white paper and explanation of it. But the only thing you have to know is that you put the money into a ticker symbol, and then well, when it goes green, you made money, and when it goes red, you lost money, and that's about it. It's gambling. It's the
Yeah,
stock
that's what it
market.
is.
That those are all the same thing, but it's unregulated stock market though, because market has to have some regulation. I have this here, and obviously BTC and ETH as other valuable cryptocurrencies will be the art of the reserve. I also love Bitcoin and Ethereum. A US crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why executive order on digital assets directed the presidential working group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, Sol, and ADA. I will make sure the US is crypto capital of the world. We are making America great again. He's literally pumping every one of those sticker symbols like BTC, ETH, those are obvious to pump, but also XRP, SOL, and ADA. He probably has a bunch of XRP, SOL, or ADA, or all his gang, they all have XRP, SOL,
Oh,
or
they must
ADA.
have. Yeah.
And when it bumps, you just sell 10% of your holding and you take some profit.
Always a bit of more money you need.
That's how it works. And then you still have a whole bunch in your pockets. So what does it change? You just took some money away from the peasants. It's all chill. And when the peasant goes to sell it, then no buyer. And so it
And
goes down because
everybody's
everyone sells. Because when you thinking it's a good idea to sell, everyone's thinking the same as you're thinking.
and everybody has coins these days. Even we talked about her, the lady, the Haktua girl thing.
Yeah, she
She
didn't
had
even
a
make that coin.
coin.
We could make
So
a
many
Ari Legal
people.
podcast coin if we wanted. It's not art. There's video on YouTube. Like in a day, we can set up a Ari Legal podcast coin. So
AIP
people
coin.
have become like good at making shit coins, and now they're making it for other people, like as branding strategy. But
Yeah,
it's
we can just make a
obviously,
coin.
yeah, it's a way to rock people.
Yeah, I have to be careful with the whole crypto thing. I don't have enough money to invest in crypto.
No, crypto is crazy, and Jhafari also thinks it's just a way a lot of people are gonna lose a whole lot of money. Basically, I agree with him.
Like a scam.
Yeah, like a big old casino, and then some people make money. That's why people go to the casino. Some people win the
Ah.
lottery, so people buy the lottery ticket. That's the whole concept. You give one guy a whole lot of money, but then you take a small amount from everyone, and then it makes up for it.
And he wins a little bit, so he thinks he's gonna win more, and he puts more, then he loses everything, and
Yeah, that's what's funny also is
that's
because
the
if
loop.
even if you win like $500 at the lotto, but you already either you already put in $500 in lottery tickets, or you're gonna.
Yeah, lottery is the same, man.
Eventually in your life you will have spent more in average than you have earned with lottery or any type like gambling.
Yeah, sometimes you can get lucky, but it's not like even when I worked at the gas station, there was a lady at the other that won $1 million or something. But
Woo! Lucky her.
yeah, but
Do
did
we
she?
know the rest of the story? What did she do with the
I don't
money
even
she
know.
didn't?
I don't know her at all, so I don't know.
Because that's the thing, eh? If you get money with like something that you didn't do necessarily, it's not like you can make
Usually
that
they
million
lose it.
back. You can make that million only once. That was a ticket. Now you have a
Y-
$1 million. You don't know how to manage $1 million, and never in your life you have $1 million. Now you have it,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
know
not
a
happening
lady
again. You're not getting another one.
at another store I worked at. That we also sell lottery. There was a lady that won half a million or 700,000, I think. But
Woo!
her, I know. She gave all the money to her family, to her children and
Okay,
grandchildren,
that's wholesome. That's wholesome
and she
because
kept
they
playing.
will have received that money and will actually probably use that money for like stuff useful or stuff that like uh
Yeah, yeah, she just
it's
gave
it's
it, and
it's it's such wholesome, because you received that from someone that gave it to you. So yeah, it's the perfect odds. Literally, it's the perfect thing to do. If you win a lottery, give it to your family and friends, and then you're fine.
that's the perfect
Literally.
way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to do it. I was thinking of another perfect way to do it was to win at lottery and then spend every single penny on other lottery item until you round down to zero.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like the greatest solution.
Well, so it closes the loop.
Yeah, you gotta break the
Yeah,
wheel. You
you
gotta
get
break
a
the wheel.
lifetime of free tickets.
It's like Game of Thrones. You gotta
Whenever you
break the
want, you
wheel.
can scratch more tickets. You always have that's your money for lottery tickets. You create a whole account that's only that. It's $1 million only for lottery tickets.
But I remember some people spend so much. I remember when I worked, they have this celebration that costs twenty-five
Oh, then you
dollars,
can celebrate.
and this
$25?
yeah, it's only during Christmas time. And there was this guy
Oh,
that
it's
came in.
special.
He bought one. He scratched it. I scanned it. He goes, "Oh, okay. Give me another one." I sold him another one.
Whoa,
He scratched it. He scanned it. No, give me another one. And I sold him at like at least 10 of them. Easy. 10,
that's
15.
250. That's 250.
He spent so much money and he
He
didn't win
spent
anything.
250.
He won a few free tickets. Like
Fucking A.
nothing. He didn't get anything.
He spent 250 for nothing.
Yeah, I think he spent like a lot of money. He had like I think he saved up like a lot of money just for them and he spent it all,
Oh
but
wow, he got scammed. He got absolutely
it
rocked by
didn't work.
celebration. They celebrated his demise.
and we were supposed to convince people to buy them. You know, when you work at the cash register, they tell you every client you have to propose a celebration. So I remember, so I did it. You know, oh, do you want a celebration? And usually they said no. So I had my, you don't want a Mercedes? And then they were like, oh, you know, maybe. Okay, convinced them with the Mercedes. You know.
Because there's a small chance you win the Mercedes.
Yeah, there's a bigger chance you win the Mercedes than the money. You know. Or you can win a trip also. Either you win a trip, a car, or the big money. You know.
So basically, the idea is that you tell the person, do you want a celebration, and they don't want it. So do you don't want
Do you don't want a Mercedes?
you don't want a Mercedes for $25. Yeah,
And
you
then they're
just
like,
ignore the fact that it's a very small chance. But it also works in the opposite, because if you tell someone, if you take that, it's gonna save you from an illness that might kill you, one in 100,000 chance.
yeah.
But if you ask the question at the right timing, in the right mindset, you have an automatic sell to everyone.
It depends how you ask, in which way, when, how, and who.
That's the whole business model. Is you tell someone like, oh, you can take that, it's gonna solve your issue. It's gonna solve a one in 100,000 chance you're gonna die from this one issue, and it's free,
Yeah. Free is always good.
right?
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
It's good to have a bit of questions when it's free.
Yeah, usually when it's free, you're the product. That's what they say.
That's what they say, and we're saying that 100% sponsored by free products. We didn't pay a single piece of software to run this whole operation.
No, we're
It
just
magically
doing.
runs itself for free.
Yeah, there's a few payments you have to do, but yeah, you have to have internet.
Patreon.com/ Illegal Podcast for donations and some shilling.
Thank you for supporting the show,
The
and we'll.
Vanunu coin. Oh, Vanunu coin would be insane. But what I'm wondering with Vanunu, okay, is that Vanunu, he like he like leaked the secret. He spilled the beans on the whole like nuclear arsenal that Israel was like trying to make. I don't know
Yeah.
if Israel has the nukes right now. I know Canada doesn't have the nuke because we believe in denuclearization.
Oh.
Okay, we ratified the treaty. We're one of the like five guys that signed the thing at first. Who created the whole idea of denuclearization. So Israel, Vanunu spilled the beans on Israel, and he got stooled by Robert Maxwell, the dad of Ghislaine Maxwell, and
Yeah.
that's how we know that this guy is probably CIA/slash Mossad, probably,
Yeah,
because we
the
don't know
father
how.
of Ghislaine, who is the wife of Epstein.
Who is now convicted, I believe. Is she in jail? Is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail?
Apparently she was, but there was never a picture of her in jail, so there's like conspiracies around it.
So maybe she wasn't in jail.
Because there's only a drawing of her in court.
Yeah, they always do those drawings. There's one of Miles Gould too before he goes in jail. But he was actually in jail. There's no picture of him in the jail, but Miles Gould is in the jail.
Yeah, maybe it's the same with her. Maybe not. I didn't see a picture. Maybe she is. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never seen a picture of Martin Shkreli in the jail either.
Yeah, maybe there's not that many pictures of people in jail. I don't know.
I don't know how commons are
But some people we
cell
see a
phones
lot.
and
Some people like if they're arrested, we see them a lot. Like the guy Guzman El Chapo. I
El
remember
Chapo. We see him a lot.
yes, I saw a few clips of him in prison when
Whoa.
it's like you obviously he is there and he doesn't seem very aware of his surroundings, that's for sure. He seems completely disconnected with with the reality. Like I saw the clip of him, he seems completely out of it. There seems to be something wrong with him.
Yeah, for sure, man. If you have run that kind of organization your whole life and now you're in prison, it's like a little bit of a disconnect.
Yeah, he seems like completely out of it. I don't think he's gonna escape again, but apparently his son escaped in the same way he did, with tunnels and under prisons.
Nice.
So it's like a family thing.
Epic. The tunneling is like a family thing. You should start like a boring company.
El Chapo's son, yeah, he also escaped. I didn't even know that his son was also a dealer.
A dealer of.
Some kind of drugs, I don't.
Oh, okay, they're both dealers of like everything.
Oh, did he escape or was it fake news?
Have
Yeah,
you seen the
escapes.
Principality of Sealand?
Sealand, no.
This thing is wild, man. I randomly discovered watching a reel. I randomly discovered this thing. It passes really fast, but I remember the information. I goes on Wikipedia. So the of Sealand, Principality of Sealand is a micronation on ancient Fort Roth. C'est un fort. It's a fort in the middle of water,
Okay, yeah.
also known as Rough Towers, an offshore platform in the North Sea. It is situated on rough sands, a sandbar located approximately 11 kilometers from the coast of Suffolk.
Oh,
From
Suffolk, okay.
the coast of Essex, Rough Towers is a Monsole sea fort that was built by British International Waters during World War II. Since 1967, the decommissioned Rough Towers has been occupied and claimed as a sovereign state by the family and associates of Paddy Roy Bates. Bates seized Rough Towers from a group of pirate radio broadcasters in 1967 with the intention of setting up his own station there. Bates and his associates have repelled incursion from vessels from rival pirate radio stations and the UK Royal Navy using firearms and petrol bombs. In 1987, the United Kingdom extended its territorial waters to 12 nautical mile, which technically puts the Principality of Sealand within a United Kingdom border. And this guy, I don't know if he's still living there. There's even a football team associated with Sealand.
Oh yeah,
That's the
there's
guy who owns Sealand right now, Michael Bates, his son. And
Sealand.
he's holding there in this picture. He's holding his new book, holding the fort.
Oh yeah, they have a team, but they're not officially members of FIFA or UEFA, so they don't. They're not in any tournaments or anything.
And so yeah, but they did a game. In 2004, Montenegro State Oviat carried the Sealandic flag to the top of Mustag Atta. Also in 2007, Michael Martel represented the Principality of Sealand in World Cup of Kung Fu and in Quebec City, Canada, bearing the designation of Athlete Principalitas Bellatorius.
Okay, yeah.
In 2008, Sealand hosted a skateboarding event with church and e-sponsored by Red Bull. So they're doing events, you know.
Do they have a population or something? How many people?
An American football team named the Sealand Seahawks were formed in 2021, announcing a game in Ireland against the South Dublin Panthers on February 2022. The Seahawks won the game 42 to 13. In September 2022, the Seahawks took several teams to Montpellier, France, to play against the France Royal Roosters, whereas a veteran team took on the Clermont-Ferrand. So
Huh.
they still have a football team,
And
the
how many people live there?
Sealand National Football Association. I think it has only one permanent resident,
Oh, yeah, cause it's only on water, and there's no land.
but but well, that's land, you know. That's, you have a bit of real estate right there.
Yeah, you have a bit of.
Picture is small, but I'm sure it's bigger when you're in there.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
sure.
sure you can make it dope as fuck, you know.
How do they have a team? Like, if there's only one guy. What a weird place. It's
Um,
like
and the guy he made the area claimed offshore platform. He claimed the platform, and it's now a micronation, the
a
Principality of
micro.
Sealand. Yeah, and this guy seems great. You know,
Yeah, he
holding the
seems
fort, epic.
seems seems like a good guy. Yeah.
He has a fishery company with his like sons and daughters. He just like, I guess he makes the money in there and he rolls it in Sealand.
Does he have a house on under?
That's an aerial view of Sealand in 2006, but he wasn't Prince of Sealand by then, you know, because his dad who owned Sealand before he died in 2010. So I don't know what it looks like
Or
now.
maybe now he has a bit of a. He could build a little house on top of there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But if the water goes higher or something,
Yeah, they have a shack. They built a shack. See, they
oh yeah,
built a little cabin.
they have a flag and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty legit. That's a country, bro. Yeah, see, there's a lot of people actually. They're
Oh, yeah,
chilling.
no, there's more than one guy. There's a whole crew.
They have their boat. They're chilling. Drinking beer,
Seems
living
like a
the
good place.
life.
Damn, I want to move out.
Sealand, bro. Like fucking Yankees. Oh, they have an helicopter roof now.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Yeah, great. World's smallest nation, Sealand grapples with princess death.
Sealand. It's just a little
Sealand.
structure, just like two columns and a little thing on top.
Well,
It's crazy.
yeah, it's epic. The Principality of Sealand. Well, it is what it is, man. It's the
It's one of the.
smallest nation in the world. And they don't ask nothing, you know. They don't ask money for anyone. They just want peace, you know.
Yeah, they're not doing wars. They're
They're
not
not.
invading.
Yeah, exactly. They're just chillest, you
Imagine if
know.
they start invading the UK. They just take over UK.
So Michael Bates, self-styled as Prince Michael of Sealand, is an English businessman and self-published author. He operates a self-proclaimed and unrecognized micronation called the Principality of Sealand, which he inherited from his parents, Paddy Roy Bates and Joan Bates. He has claimed the title Prince of Sealand since the death of his father in 2012. Is this guy CIA?
And is the smallest country in the world?
Michael Bates was born to Roy and Jones Bates. Blah 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 blah. Toute sa vie là.
It's a micro country. Yeah.
On whether Sealand is a sovereign states. Bates stated, "We have never asked for recognition and we've never felt the need to ask for recognition. You don't have to have recognition to be a state, you just have to fulfill the criteria of the Montevideo Convention, which is population, territory, government, and the capacity to enter into negotiation with other states. We can and we have done all these things. We've had the German ambassador visit at one point to discuss something that was de facto recognition. We've had communication with the president of France many years ago, but we have never asked for recognition and we don't feel we need it." Epic. He killed it.
Don't feel we
In
need it.
2015, Bates published a memoir about his experiences with Sealand called Principality of Sealand Holding the Fort. Bates presented a discussion of his book in Estuary 2016, an art, literature, music, and film festival. In September 2017, Bates held a dinner to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Sealand. They're already 50 years old, stating, "We're perhaps the most undemanding state in the world. We don't force anybody to worship any god or religion or anything. Maybe that's why we've lasted so long. Hopefully, I'll be around for the next 50.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I'm looking here at other micronations. There's the Principality of Snake Hill,
Oh, for real?
something like that. Yeah. There's
Snake Hill.
there's other micronations. There's not many of them, but there's a few other. Yeah. There's Principality of Snake Hill. They also have a flag.
Yeah, where are they?
Wales, close to Wales, so close to UK. I guess. Same. Maybe even close to Sealand. Snake Hill. What does it look like, Snake Hill? I'll just check municipality. Because there's also Saborga, but that seems a little bit bigger. Saborga is in Italy, but it seems a bit bigger.
Yeah, like there's a thousand people there.
Yeah, Snake Hill is just a hill.
It's owned by no one. So what's the
Principality,
micronation about?
it's owned by Helena and Paula.
The
They're
whole hill.
apparently. Snake Hill has roughly hundreds of citizens. Oh, it's the land size of Monaco. Okay, it's a bit bigger. It's not just a hill. But the picture was just a hill, so I thought it was. It even has
You know,
two
they
main
even have a
newspapers.
Facebook page.
They have newspapers over there.
I like that.
Princess Helena is the head of state, ascended to the throne after the death of her husband, Prince Paul. High Court of Australia, International Court of Justice.
Principality of Snake Hill. A micronation, and it's in parentheses unrecognized entity. Micronations aren't a thing, guys.
Unrecognized?
Yeah, but it's also a thing because they're doing it.
Micronation. Unrecognized entity. Yeah, but it kind of, yeah. A family of Australian residents could no longer afford to pay taxes, and after litigation over a mortgage and being inspired by the Principality of Hutt River, they did legal research and came to the conclusion that forming a country would be completely legal under Australian law, and thus declared independence on 2nd September 2003. That's crazy. That's South Wales, Australia. Okay, I thought it was Wales, UK. It's South Wales, Australia. I didn't even know they had Wales in Australia.
Nice, bro. That's cool. So they just live there.
Yeah, they just decided
They
after
couldn't afford to pay the taxes.
yeah, they couldn't afford to pay taxes. They just found a loophole that they just became a sovereign nation or something. Yeah, that's
They
pretty
did
good.
their legal research and came to the conclusion that forming a country would be completely legal under Australian law. And he thus declared independence on 2 September 2003. That's epic, man. When you study law so far that you're like, yeah, I have an idea, man. It's legal. I declare independence on this day with a big old fancy letter. Epic. They did it because
Yeah,
they're doing it actually. They're living there.
yeah, it's still active. It's still and there's other ones. Those older ones. There's Kingdom of Redonda, 1865.
But is it still going?
Yeah, yeah, 1929 to present. Maybe
1929 to
so.
present.
Maybe it
Oh.
had some kind of break because it. Well, yeah, 1929. It
They
was
have
established.
two newspapers in Snake Hill. Wow, Snake Hill Gazette and Snake Hill Woman. They also claim to operate a church and issue its own currency.
The Kingdom of Redonda.
and it's a monarchy.
Yeah, they're all monarchies. There's always a king and
Micronations are always monarchies.
yeah.
Micronations is like monarchy trying to fix itself, you know, make new monarchies, like an episode of Kingmaker. I don't know if there is a show called Kingmaker, but they should make one.
There probably is. It sounds like a good name.
You just have to ask AI to generate it. Hey AI, can you generate an episode of Kingmaker?
Oh, check this. The Grand Duchy of Avram. Avram does not claim any territory and primarily exists as a micronational bank. So they're a micronation, but they're just a bank. They don't have a territory.
And so what they do just don't follow banking regulation, or they do follow all the banking regulations.
Based in Australia, the Australian government brought several
Every
lawsuits.
time it's the Australians, man.
Yeah, a lot of Australians have micronations. Another one in Australia here. Province of Bumbunga.
Well, once two or three guys do it and it's fair, it's
There's a
safe.
lot in Australia. There's in Queensland, Murawari Republic. Whoa. So Australia, they're really not. They're separated in a lot of small micronations.
They're into it.
Austria also has one. Belgium, Belize, Bosnia. Canada has two. Kingdom of Lens
We have
Saint
two
Jean.
micronations. What are the micronations in Canada?
Kingdom of Lens Saint Jean in Quebec. And Republic of Rathneller in Toronto. It's a neighborhood in Toronto. But the
Whoa.
first one, Kingdom of Lens Saint Jean, created in 97. By referendum, the citizens of Lens chose to declare the municipality a municipal monarchy as a way to promote tourism. So Lens Saint Jean is a municipality in the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region.
Wow. Fait que dans le Saguenay, il y a quelqu'un qui a starté une micronation.
Yeah.
Micronation in Saguenay, bro.
Municipal monarchy.
That's some crazy stuff. Municipal monarchy. So it's always monarchies.
Yeah.
Municipal monarchy. So he started a municipality that's also a monarchy.
There's 1,000 people living, 1,300.
1,000 people, and he started that where? So there's already like a nation there.
Yeah,
Thousand people.
it was a
That's a lot of
village
people.
that the citizens voted in a referendum in 97 to declare the village a municipal monarchy. So in 97 they chose it. Before it wasn't. They made a
Okay.
decision.
So do
The
they
mic
still pay taxes? Yeah, everyone
yeah,
still
I
pay
think
taxes.
it's mostly a way to boost tourism. That's mostly what it is.
Micronations.
Chile has two, Czech Republic, Denmark has two, France has four.
You think it's just a way to boost tourism,
That's what's written in the thing, yeah. It's not my opinion.
or is that people start micronations, quote unquote, just because someone thinks, oh, it's like special or something, so I'll go visit that.
But
But
that's
then it's the
what's
same as everything else. It doesn't actually make a difference.
but that's what's written here. The micronational project was cheerfully conceded to be a way of boosting tourism in the region, which has been hit by the 96 Saguenay flood.
Yeah. Okay.
But Dennis I abdicated on January 2000, bringing the perpetuated kingdom to an end.
Oh, so it's over.
So I think it's over. It's maybe not.
Is there another one Canadian going?
Just the other one, Republic of Rathneller. But that's just a neighborhood in Toronto.
Who declared
I think,
independence?
yeah, it must be something like Westmont in Montreal. It's technically a town. It's not Montreal.
No, it's not Montreal, effectively.
Like Westmont is not technically Montreal. It's
No, Westmount isn't Montreal. All the rules are different. You can't park the same place. You have to come follow the rules and everything.
yeah, but it's still in Montreal. You know, it's on the island.
Yeah, it's on the island, but it's not Montreal. And it's not the only that's separated from Montreal actually.
Oh, you have a difference, huh? You have Laval.
It'd be cool to have Hochelaga separate from Montreal. But imagine that'd
You
be so
think?
cool. We could rejuvenate like the whole like useless piece of real estate we have like laying around everywhere.
Oh, Schlag, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the whole block, the whole Hochelaga. I know they're like trying to inject a lot of money because they want us to stay in Montreal. But
Yeah.
we you take the money and then we rug them, and boom, we're independent now. We take care of our own road. Yeah, they're all clean because of you, but now we take care of them. Now it's our roads.
Oh, I'm not in Hochelaga anymore,
We
so.
collectivize their roads. We publicize the public funds that are roads.
But Hochelaga it's very old. It's even older than Montreal almost, no?
Hochelaga.
It doesn't have like an old story or something? Or maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, Hochelaga
1534,
was a production
Iroquois.
before, no?
Yeah, Iroquois village of the same name.
Montreal.
No, Hochelaga was a Iroquois village here that Jacques Cartier discovered.
Was it the same exact spot that Hochelaga is?
Yeah, and the same name.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
The neighborhood was at one time believed to be the location of the historic village. Oh, okay, we don't know if it's exactly there, but modern have not reached agreement on the exact location. Okay, so we think that Hochelaga is where the village was, but we're not sure at 100%. It was annexed to Montreal in 1883 against the demands of some of its landowners. That's why they separated territory to found the village of Maisonneuve. Maisonneuve grew rapidly, became one of Canada's largest industrial suburbs, marketed as a model industrial city and the Pittsburgh of Canada. Imagine this. Hochelaga was named the Pittsburgh of Canada.
Wow,
They had
the
a lot of
Pittsburgh of
factories.
Canada.
But in 1918, $18 million in debt, Maisonneuve was forced to annex to Montreal and became Hochelaga Maisonneuve. I really enjoyed living in Hochelaga, even if there's a bit of a bad, people talk bad about it. I
Like
like the
usual.
neighborhood. I think it's a nice neighborhood. I
So they
enjoyed it.
fused with Maisonneuve because they had depth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then they fused to Montreal too. They separated first, then they fused.
So it'd be Hochelaga Maisonneuve as a block that would leave Montreal.
Yeah, Hochelaga Maisonneuve is a whole thing. Yeah,
But Hochelaga Maisonneuve is a whole lot of Montreal.
yeah, it's big.
So yeah, that's a whole lot of Montreal. So they have a lot of weight in the balance.
Olympic Stadium.
It'd be a shame if like they would turn independent.
Yeah, it would be strange. It's probably not gonna happen.
Let's make like normal road signs, I guess, where like it's understandable and you can just traffic is like easy and everything.
Um,
For the whole Hochelaga Maisonneuve.
that's why I'm happy not to live in a big city anymore. I drive around sometimes from work late in the evening. I see one, two cars in half an hour.
Yeah, that's it.
I have the whole road to myself. It's so much nicer living outside of the city.
Yeah, the city aren't made for cars, but at the same time, the cars are necessary to run the city.
Yeah, even now, recently I saw images. The bike paths are completely plowed of the snow,
Yeah,
and the streets are full of snow. Cars can't park. I even saw there was a guy filmed a lady driving on the bike path with her car. I was
nice.
like, yeah, it's the only place that's déneigé, you know? Only place, they took out the snow.
Oh, they took out the snow of the back path, so the guy. So yeah, but no one does biking in these conditions.
No, it's rare, you know. They do, but it's rare. Like the boss at my work, he sometimes bikes during the winter, but he has a big bike and he likes it. But it's rare that people bike in the winter, you know.
That's an extra lane, and they added that extra lane on so many different roads. What they should have done is add the extra lane, make it nice, but add it only at one like.
On one
But
side, yeah.
I feel like cyclists should like just learn how to handle the road as usual. There's ways to do it. So it's like somewhere like some places you shouldn't go as a cyclist, right?
Yeah, on the
But
highway
some
or
other place, no, not even on a highway. There's some fucking roads on Montreal I would never take as a cyclist. I'd be like, fuck, I'm gonna die on this road, you know. But some like you have to know the neighborhood, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, for sure, man.
You take a bit longer path if you have to, but
But because it's not longer path, it's a shorter path. Because it's easier to get there, you'll get there sooner.
yeah, but if there are roads you can't use, you have to use other roads.
Not for a bike. Bike you can go basically everywhere. You're even you can
Yeah, with a bike, yeah,
step down from your bike and you like have like infinite mobility.
yeah,
You can't do that shit with a car. If it's at the wrong spot, it creates a whole fucking problem.
yeah. You have to.
Move it and shit. You're there
But
for an hour trying.
when you're in the city, it's I don't even. I remember when I was in the city, I didn't even use my car half the time. It's just the metro and everything is so much easier to use. You don't have to look for parking anywhere. It's good if you don't have a car in the city. You don't even need it really. But then if you wanna transport something a bit heavier, you're
Exactly.
you're
That's
kind
why
of
I
stuck.
said that the cars are necessary to run the city, because at the end of the day, you'll have to move big stuff. That's for sure. That's a guarantee.
Yeah, yeah, you have to sometimes.
Or move stuff. Well, just for business stuff will have to be moved. Like
Yeah, you
someone wants to
always.
start the recording studio. Like, okay, you have to have table, you have to have chairs, you have to move all that shit by truck.
Yeah, even if you open a business or something, you have to have the product you wanna sell.
Yeah, whatever it is, you have to be able to move the darn thing.
Yeah, okay, but we'll see how it goes. You can't have a completely bicycle city. You have to have some cars.
No, it needs to be all bicycles. They close the road and make it bicycle only and do that with. Yeah, that's what they should do. Every road that right now has a bicycle path should be closed and only for bicycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move the
Yeah, that
cars
would
out.
solve the problem
All
right
the cars
away.
to Saint Jerome.
Day one. If I win, if you elect me, I do this day one. I promise.
Yeah,
And as soon as I do that, it all becomes free for all. Everyone can like just drive on the bike path because it's all road. You just break these little this shitty bike path they made. You break it, and it's all like it's only a bike path. No block of concrete, no nothing. It's just a big road, clean,
just
for
bikes.
bikes, just for bikes. Yeah,
Everybody's gonna be in shape. No fat people anymore.
yeah. It's winter. There's not a single fucking bike in there. Think
And
no one is gonna fucking drive the car there?
there's
You
not gonna
know,
be any
no
overweight
cars.
people.
No cars allowed.
Everybody's gonna be fit. It's good. It's good. It's a good
Yeah,
thing.
it's gonna be epic, man. In winter, you don't even have to remove the snow. You know.
How are we gonna get anywhere?
Well, they never get anywhere. I mean, a cyclist in winter doesn't get like a lot of places. So if you don't remove the snow, it's just a minor inconvenience. It's an added minor inconvenience. Those
Yeah, with
weren't
40 centimeters of snow,
people
you're
that
not going.
were getting shit done in the first place.
No, with 40 centimeter of snow, you're not going very far.
Just use the metro, bro.
Yeah, at this point, it's just gonna be a walking city.
The problem with the metro and the bus for real is that sometimes you can just like if you were in a car, you just go where you want to go, okay? But now because you're in the metro or you have to take the metro, then you have to walk 15 minutes to get to the metro station just because of the peculiarities of exactly where you want to go, okay? And then you take the metro and then you go out, but you have to take two buses to get to where you want to go to
Yeah,
buy a
sometimes it's
Facebook Marketplace fucking thing, okay? And you have to do it all over in reverse to get home. You miss one bus. You
yeah,
miss one
sometimes it's
stop at
annoying.
any steps in the whole fucking ordeal, and you're fucked. If you like fucking fall asleep on one of the bus, it's over. You're lost. You're somewhere in Montreal. Good luck with that. And then you have to walk another 25 minutes to get to a metro station because where you got left off is bumblefuck nowhere. It's gonna take an hour for another bus.
Yeah, I remember when I was just the bus and metro. After, if it's the only option, it's annoying. But when you can just take it from time to time, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Or if it's like, I guess transit with your job with metro is nice, but the job has to be near the metro, and where you live has to be near a metro, or
Yeah,
else it's
yeah,
shit. Or else it's really shit.
yeah. You have to take buses and stuff. And in the winter, it's annoying. There's always en transit. Every bus is en transit. You think
And
it's a
then now
bus
you
coming in?
wait.
Ah, like it's not the right bus. You gotta wait.
That's something I learned moving, like equipment around and stuff like that is like you don't move empty handed because it's useless. You're wasting your time. So like you always move with something in your hands. But these guys, they're literally going up and down P9, but they move empty handed the whole way up and down.
What do you mean empty-handed?
Well, they have no one in the bus. It's en transit.
Oh
And
yeah,
now
yeah.
you
They're
go
just a
down the
empty bus.
whole way
Yeah, yeah.
right where I want to go. Like you could have picked up us, all of us up, and bring us where we want to go,
Yeah, it's
but no,
pointless. It's
no,
very
no. You're
weird.
just going. You're going places in the big old fucking bus
You're doing the
alone.
same traject. Yeah, you're doing the
We
same way.
replaced we replaced 50 cars with one retard on in one bus.
Yeah, and they don't even know how to drive. You saw the we talked about it a few podcasts ago. The guy that driving a bus and he ran into the kindergarten,
Oh, that's something else.
and then he
I
he,
think he did
he
that on
stripped.
purpose. He removed his fucking clothes.
Yeah, he
That's
removed
not
his
okay.
clothes
That's not okay.
and he started screaming. No,
If
he
you
had
are
some kind of
ever in a
mental issue.
kindergarten and you remove your clothes, that's not okay. But if you went in there via the fucking wall with your bus,
That's even worse. Yeah, that's
it, well, it kind of makes it worse. Yeah, for sure. That's a vibe, though.
I don't know, but and he stripped and he started screaming. Like, imagine the scene if you're a kid in that kindergarten, you're just chilling, playing Legos with a friend,
Bro, they should have, like, dissect his
talking about
brain or
the new
something. They would
Star
have
Wars
found the
movie or something,
tumor exactly
talking
at the
about
right
Star
spot.
Wars. Oh, you saw the new Jedi, whatever, and just a buzz that comes in. The guy strips, starts screaming. You're like, what the hell is going on? Must have been traumatizing for those kids. You're just chilling, and all of a sudden, there's a guy screaming, stripping. Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I'd
And
guess it'd
that's in
be
Laval.
if the guy does that and you're like just chilling with your homies and the guy is just like he's not driving a bus, he's just like stripping and like screaming, I'd be like, bro, you have like a brain tumor or something.
Yeah, but he comes in through the wall.
I mean, randomly, right? No drugs. Did the guy hit some drugs before he like?
I don't know. He clearly has some issue. And then he made some fuck you moves to some police in court, I think. There was something we read about him. I think
So was he freed? You think what's
uh,
the update?
I think he's still the whole court proceedings is that he's probably gonna go to prison or he's gonna go out with the because he's mentally
Wait, he's not
challenged.
in jail yet.
I don't know if he's completely arrested. Although I didn't check. I didn't keep updated with the story. We can check it out. I forgot the man's name.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about him.
Man runs into kindergarten.
And what about the guy on Halloween who went up in Quebec and just cut people up like a samurai? What about this guy?
Well, when was this?
Yeah, what about him?
Oh, the guy is not criminally responsible.
That's what he said.
The man accused of killing 2 children and injuring 6 others when the bus he was driving crashed into Montreal area daycare 2 years ago should be found not criminally responsible on account of a mental disorder, the Quebec Crown said.
That's what I said. I called it before everyone else did. Because you can predict the future in Quebec. No one is going to talk about this, but the psychopaths are being entitled and boldened in their action. This guy, he can do it again whenever he fucking wants. He can still be a bus driver.
He probably can, yeah. Me
He's
saying,
still a bus driver. You can just run through wall, fucking strip naked, then beat up. I guess. Did he beat up? Was that something
I
he
don't
did? No, he
think so.
screamed. He
Oh
screamed.
no, he screamed. He
And
just
then
screamed.
he did some fuck you to a guy in court, but it's okay because he has Tourette syndrome.
Yeah,
It's okay because he has Tourette.
his name is Pierre Ni Saint-Amand. Pierre Ni Saint-Amand.
That's insane, bro.
And he's
And
out
so
there.
he's freed. He's free, man.
Yeah, non-criminally responsible. He's chilling, probably.
What's his name? I'm gonna Google this thing. This the most depressing news of the day.
Yeah, I think we're gonna end on this. It's a
No,
Pierre.
we have to hit on a plus. You can't hit on. Yeah, the guy was free. It's like yeah, chilling.
His name is Pierre Ni Saint-Amand.
Ni, comment t'écris ça, N-I-E?
N-Y. Espace Saint-Amand. Ça va le trouver.
Oh fuck, 10 days ago.
It's recent.
Won't undergo jury trial. Won't
That's
undergo jury trial. See? No justice, no jury.
And he killed 2 children.
The Crown says he's not liable. He's not liable.
I mean,
He killed children, no? He
Yeah,
killed
he
two
killed
children
2 children
and
and
injured
injured.
6 children.
Exactly, yeah.
He's not liable.
He should be in prison for sure. He's dangerous for society.
So what does that tell us about our society when the Crown says that's okay? That's CBC, by the way. That's not big if true content. That's like literally the news.
Is he like going to a mental asylum or something, a mental hospital, or he's
Oh,
just gonna
is
be?
there another date?
Because if
There's
he goes,
another date. There's another date. That stuff isn't over.
oh, it's not finished yet.
Oh no,
Printemps 2025.
that's a prior news that tells us we will have another date, and the other
Ah,
date is actually the new news that's all chill.
so the other date is when?
It's now.
Oh, so it's nothing's happening.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
Sera
Well, something
probablement
happened.
déclaré,
That's
probablement.
what happened. It's chill. You can just do that. And no one talks about that one.
It's crazy that it's like I remember when they talked about it on the radio when it happened, but since then I haven't heard anything.
So this guy, he's still stuck in a psychiatric hospital. But that's exactly what I said. I was saying that he was flipping off the cop just to say that he has a mental problem, I can control my actions, and so therefore he would end up being in a mental institute. So he can exit the mental institute, but he has to come back or something.
Oh, he can leave?
Yeah, but he has to come back, I guess.
Yeah. It's so there's something like this. I had a friend that he went to prison only on weekends. He
So
was free
it's
during the
not
week, but
it's not over. It's the 7th of April is the next date that we're gonna have the next episode of this saga and fucking asshole here.
Pierre, yeah, he's obviously
See, he
yeah,
has a condition. No, but it's
he's
chill.
just
This guy,
Asian.
if you meet this guy, he has a condition. It's perfect. If you just buy bread and this guy is there in the line, he just has a condition. It's all fair game. He
Yeah,
can
I don't
kill two
know.
children and harm six other. It's all cool. If you put your kid in the public school system, this guy can come in with his bus through the door, not knocking, and
Does
killing
he?
your kid. And
I
it's
wonder if
all
he has
it's all
any kids.
kosher.
Does he have any kids? I'm curious.
For killing kids is kosher now. Officially by the crown, it's certified kosher. That's insane.
Yeah, and he's a bus, and he probably I don't remember if he had other incidents before, but I think we read that he had revoked his bus license and then he got it back somehow. But I'm not too sure about that. But it's usually like this, you know. It's stuff like this. It's maybe could have been prevented somehow.
Oh,
Um,
and there won't be like a judge and everything. No process. That's what they said for him. For him, he goes right to mental institute.
hmm.
We won't even get to like hear what happened and the detail, and like then we'll have like 12 people selected from member of our peers that will say if this guy is guilty or not. We won't have that.
No, it's already decided.
It's decided already. The crown decided. Mental institute. Woo! So does he have kids?
I don't know. I know he has a wife.
No, that's it. There's no more news. That's the only big news is that you can kill two kids, and even in the headline it said like basically like he killed two kids and he's chill, non-criminal.
So
That's the world we live in.
he won't have a criminal record or anything.
No, that's impossible. He killed two kids. How is the family isn't suing the guy for killing their kids? May be found not
Maybe they don't
criminally
want to.
responsible.
That I can understand sometimes. Maybe they just don't want to prolong the pain. They just want to put it behind them and
Oh yeah, I'm a family. You just I trusted that school. Either the school or or this guy. Someone has to pay, man. Someone has to go behind the bars, for like a long time. Man, you kill my kids, you go behind bar for a long time. Whoever is
why would
responsible, I'll
why
figure it out, and you'll go behind the bars for a long time.
How did he even have the right to drive a bus? I mean, if he's that mentally challenged, that he has to go to mental
No, now
hospital.
we won't drive the bus.
Yeah, but why was he even allowed to do it before if he's that mentally challenged, you know?
Well, they didn't knew.
They don't test the guys they just give the bus to anyone.
Non-criminal. Epic. Epic, man. You can't make this shit up.
I
The
wonder if I
Matrix
saw him.
delivers.
I wonder if I was on his bus because I used to take the bus when I was in Montreal. Imagine if you were on his bus at some point in our life and we didn't know. That would be crazy. Maybe we were on his bus once. But yeah, it's pretty grim.
That's insane, bro. And the guy who cut up people in Quebec.
Magnata, you mean?
No, no, not that guy. Magnata is another case, but I'm talking about the samurai guy. Quebec sword attacker sentenced to life in prison. So see,
Ah, so
at
he
least
got
there's
life.
some. It's new. The corruption is new. This guy, he could have maybe he could have done a mental institute for like. So Quebec sword attacker sentenced to life in prison, no parole for 25 years. Even 25 years technically for cutting people up with a sword. That's low, man. Like if you kill
How
no one
many
but you
people?
steal $1 billion, your life in prison 3 times. You stole $1 billion. But
How
if
many
you
people
cut
did he cut?
like family members of other people with a sword in a public place, that's chill, man. That's 25 years, no parole. Those are rookie numbers.
How many people did he cut up?
How many people you have to kill to get life? Let's say you have a sword, okay? How many people you need to fucking cut up before you get life?
Depends who you kill.
Well, for sure it depends. I'm like in a
If you kill a
nice
police
neighborhood.
officer or something,
No, in a
that's
shitty neighborhood, in commerce, people in the streets, just random people, I mean, you know,
because it's not the same. If you kill a prostitute,
fucking A, man.
nobody's gonna care. But if you kill a politician or if you kill
So
some
how many prostitutes you have to
celebrity,
kill to get life in prison?
thousands probably.
1,000.
Probably.
That's 10 prostitutes per year.
But
One
they're not gonna
prostitute
look
is
for
worth
them.
it was worth one in the 2 months or
Yeah, they're
something.
not gonna look for them.
So
They're
if you
not.
kill only one, you get a month and a half, basically. This guy killed only one. Rookie numbers. And you get caught. And boom.
Yeah, don't get caught if you're
Released.
gonna cut people up.
Released. Oh,
How many
he
people?
did it. He did it many times. Now you get the year because you did more than once. You know.
How many people did he cut? It doesn't say.
So the man found guilty of using a sword to murder and maim in Quebec City's historic district on Halloween has been 2020 has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole for 25 years. How many people did he kill? François Duchesne, 56, museum employee, and Suzanne Clermont, 61, hairdresser.
Also, he killed two. And then what does?
Oh, Giroir admitted to committing the acts but claimed he was not criminally responsible by way of mental disorder. How
That's
motherfucking
ridiculous.
convenient. Uh, how can we just like fucking remove this from the code?
Do you
Like,
remember also that
obviously you're killing people. You're mentally fucking, you know. That's not
there's
uh,
another one?
that's not a lessening thing. If you're killing someone, you're not in your right mind by definition. So you can't say, "Oh, I wasn't in my right mind," so that makes it okayer. No, it doesn't. That was
It's like
implicit in the initial statement. You're fucking crazy. That's why we're
you
here.
do you remember the doctor in Quebec that killed his two kids because his wife left him? And did the same thing. He said that he's crazy and everything, and I think he got released too.
Oh yeah.
That was a big story. What was his name? The
That's
doctor.
like the news. The bitch was cray. That's you all have that to say. You, the bitch was cray. That's it. And then you get released. Just say the magic words.
Yeah, he was
That's
crazy.
crazy. And he got what, nothing?
I'm gonna write kiss. Kiss.
Is
After.
fearporn.com taken because we had a good shtick here. That's all
What was his
legal.
name? Oh, Guy Turcotte. Guy Turcotte. You remember Guy Turcotte?
I remember by name.
That's the guy. But I think he's in prison. Is he? Wait a moment. Is he? Verdict de non-responsabilité criminelle also, I think.
So he does no prison? So Guy Turcotte is kosher?
Ta, 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 ta.
The crown
17
judge.
years, I think. I think he only got 17 years.
Oh, that's not much. But the other guy, he kills two
In
children.
2028,
You kill two children, you do zero prison. Not even a minute. Not even a fucking minute of prison.
yeah, but Guy Turcotte, he also killed children.
Yeah, I know.
He
17
killed two
years.
kids.
Yeah, but if you do
Yeah, it's
with
not that
it
much.
with a bus, okay, through a wall, and you kill two kids, right? Then you get to also damage six more plus
Yeah, it's not
everyone
fair. That's for
present. Then you take off your clothes. That's one more thing. Then you scream. That's another one. They fuck you to the cop. Another one. Not a minute. A mental
In
institute for you with orange.
2028, he can be released.
Hmm?
2020, in 2028, he can ask for to be released.
Oh, we can ask. 17 years. That's nothing, bro.
It's nothing. And it's even worse. It's maybe not worse, but he killed his own kids. That's what's crazy, you know. I mean, no, obviously killing any kid is crazy, but your own is like it's insane.
Ah, apparemment, le
If
policier qui a arrêté Guy Turcotte s'est donné la mort. Bon, ben, that's it.
oh yeah,
Hmm. Apparemment.
il s'est suicidé là.
Moi, il serait suicidé. Stress post-traumatique.
Man, c'est crazy. Guy Turcotte also another case. So many of these.
That's crazy, man. Dark spirals.
Uh, all right,
That's
I think
calamity right there.
gonna start to wrap things up. We're already
Let's
3
wrap
hours
it
in.
up, guys. You know what to do. One like, one free Vanunu, one comment, free Vanunu, one
One
share.
subscribe.
You free the Vanunu from the cell when you share this episode with your friend and family.
Immediately, Vanunu
That's what
has
you're
it
doing.
gets
Yeah.
closer to
If
exiting.
every one of you guys share it with our like insane reach, we free Vanunu like tomorrow.
Yeah. so, so free Vanunu and
I
see
mean,
you next week.
it's a long run, okay? It's a marathon. This guy Vanunu, okay, he's running a marathon for like I don't know fucking how many years, and he's still running. He's the Jewish Terry Fox, you know?
He's still out there, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Snowden.
Peace.
Ciao, ciao. See you next week.